Welcome to the second half of our double dip here on ESPN. The Chicago White Sox against the California Angels. Here behind us, a little taking care of business. The Angels have been doing just that. And the Chicago White Sox would like to start taking care of business. They have a lineup that hasn't scored a lot of runs. Timmy Raines, DH. Lance Johnson at center field. The big guy, Frank Thomas, homered last night. Carlton Fisk behind the plate. Sammy Sosa, the rifle arm in right. Corey Snyder, struggling as a White Sox in left field. Craig Braybeck gets the start at third for Ventura tonight. Joey Cora at second base. Ozzie Guillen, the shortstop, hitting ninth. And that's the lineup that lefty Jim Abbott will face for the California Angels. Abbott started this year 0-4. He has won his last 3 outings, Jerry.
He's taken quite a bit of time working on his curveball. His problem earlier in the season was getting that curveball up in the strike zone. Hitters waiting for it, recognizing it, and just hammering it. Since then, he's worked with Marcel Latchman, the pitching coach for the Angels. He's gotten the ball down, has used the curveball at a time where it's not going to hurt him.
Behind the plate, of course, Lance Parrish. With Fisk on the other side tonight, it's one of the few catchers that Parrish can kind of look up and idolize, because many young catchers idolize Lance Parrish. The rest of the Angels defense.
Wally Joyner, we talked about him in the pregame, a 16-game hitting streak. Nonetheless, still a great fielder. Bobby Rose at second. Donnie Hill at short. Third base, Gary Gaetti. The outfield, Luis Polonia in left field. Center field is Dave Gallagher, former White Sox. And Dave Winfield in right field, rounding out the California Angels lineup here this evening.
Doug Rader. Team came off an excellent road trip. It was 7-3. They won here last night 6-3 to start a homestand with the White Sox in and the Toronto Blue Jays. And Doug Rader using a couple of different guys on defense tonight. As you can see, Dave Gallagher has played center field the last few days. Junior Felix has a strained right calf. And Luis Sojo, the strained right hamstring. So starting at second base is Bobby Rose. For Jeff Torborg, we said at the open of the show, it's only their second game for the White Sox. It's their 35th game of the year. Only their second game against the American League West, which is absurd. But then again, it's fine because they did fine against the American League West last year. The umpires tonight, Al Scott behind the plate. Dan Morrison at first. Jim Evans at second. Tim Welke at first. We're glad you could join us from the top. We're now 2 for 7. Mendoza line is way behind us. We're hitting 286. And welcome aboard. Tim Raines would like to be hitting 286. That's where he usually hits. But Timmy, after coming over with the big trade in the offseason, basically for Von Calderon and Barry Jones, he's found the going rough. And he's DHing as often as he's playing left field late. That's Torborg's decision to try and get him untracked at the plate. 1-0 pitch from Jim Abbott. There's a strike call.
Tim Raines, the problem. It's interesting. Hal McRae, the coach for the Montreal Expos, I talked to him about it when I saw the Expos last Friday night, says that when a player comes from the National League is used to seeing certain pitches on certain counts. For instance, fastballs when the pitcher is behind in the count. In the American League, it's done differently. You see an assortment of pitches, fork balls, sliders, curve balls, changeups, and it's tough to make an adjustment from the fastball going slower. However, Ivan Calderon has seen more fastballs, recognizes it, and say, hey, I like this lead. I'm a fastball hitter.
1-2 pitch. Inside, Raines holds off. Also, let's face it, when a lot's expected of you, you are only human. And sometimes, if you don't get going well, you press a little bit. And I think Tim Raines has faced tougher battles. That's been well documented. Tougher battles than changing leagues and coming much heralded to a new team. But he's struggling with that. 2-2 pitch, and Abbott K's him for the first out of the game. So a good heater from Jim Abbott.
That's a high fastball. Threw it right by Tim Raines. Of course, making the problem even more complicated is the fact that he hasn't seen Jim Abbott pitch before. Just before that pitch, it was a cut fastball inside that Abbott tried to sneak by him. He threw that fastball past him up high.
So with one down, the center fielder for the White Sox, Major Lance Johnson. 244, and he looks at strike one from Jim Abbott. Johnson can steal some bases, but he too having trouble untracking himself. A ground ball to Bobby Rose. Easy play. 2 up, 2 down. And the White Sox first. So that'll bring up, and we do say with reverent, the big guy, Frank Thomas, hit his 6th home run last night, a shot off Mark Langston. Bring his average up to 303. Thomas, his 2nd year, came up the last couple of months, made the jump from Birmingham of Double-A. Came up and hit cleanup last year for a club in contention. Swings at the first pitch, slow roller. Gaetti's going to have to hustle. Not in time. So for the big guy, you can see he can move as well. So Frank Thomas, you don't expect many infield singles from him, but when they play back, Thomas used it to his advantage. It looked like a shot in the scoreboard.
He'll count it as a shot. There's no doubt. Gaetti does everything he possibly can. He was 10 steps behind the base. Makes a good throw. Nice pickup by Joyner, but not quick enough to catch Frank Thomas.
So Thomas, 23 years of age, is on first base. And 43 years of age in his 20th season. Carlton Fisk, yet to homer this year. That looked strange, but last year it took him a while to hit his first stinger, didn't it?
It did. It took him some while. It takes a while at times in the course of your career to get adjusted to the season. The cold weather affects you a little bit. Remember, he had some knee problems in the offseason, trained to get his body back into shape. He says to this point he really hasn't felt good except for maybe 1 or 2 games so far this season.
Yeah, but he's still hitting .287, so he's adjusted fairly well as he's adjusted for 20 years.
Well, that's why he's played 20 years, is because he's able to make the adjustments. All the time that he's missed a lot of time because of the disabled list and being a catcher. All those foul tips coming back, catching it in the fingers or the shoulders or the knees. It still amazes me that a catcher can play 20-plus years in the major leagues. 20-plus years of anything.
1-0 pitch from Abbott. Oh, ball 2. Carlton Fisk second to only Bob Boone on the lifetime list of games caught. Fisk about 150, 160 games behind Booney. Swinging a 2-0 pitch, Gaetti to Rose, and that'll do it for the White Sox in the top of the first inning. So the White Sox get the hit, but don't score any runs. We'll be back.
ESPN Home Video presents the perfect Father's Day. First, show Dad how you really feel about him. Give him a big hug. Get him a tie with matching gloves and a little something to wet his whistle. And for dinner, serve him the catch of the day with extra stuffing. If your dad's a good sport, give him the best sports. Only on ESPN Home Video. Available at Sears. Your money's worth and a whole lot more.
Bottom of the first inning here in Anaheim on a chilly evening for here. The California Angels, winners of 9 of their last 13, stride to the plate. And as he's been doing all year very well, Luis Polonia will lead off and play left field. Wally Joyner, leading batter in the American League 16-game hitting streak, batting second at first. The G-man, Gary Gaetti at third. Dave Parker, clean up. Dave Winfield went deep last night at right. Lance Parrish behind the plate. Batting seventh, Bobby Rose at second base. Donnie Blueberry Hill, the shortstop, hitting eighth tonight. And Dave Gallagher, center field, hitting ninth against young right-hander Alex Fernandez, who impressed last year when he came up. But this year, you see the ERA of close to 8, and that are not Alex Fernandez numbers. He's struggled with his control this year, Jerry.
Yes, he has. He said part of the problem might be the fact that he has never opened in the major leagues before, this being his first full year. There's an adjustment to be made from college ball. He's making it. It's on-the-job training simply because he didn't have much time in the minor leagues. So now you see him, and he's struggling just a little bit. Of course, what helps him through this struggle is having a catcher like Carlton Fisk. You see there having a conversation with home plate umpire Dale Scott. At first base, it's Frank Thomas who got that leadoff single. Joey Cora at second. Ozzie Guillen at shortstop, and Craig Graybeck tonight at third base. In the outfield, it's Corey Snyder over from Cleveland. Lance Johnson in center. Sammy Sosa rounds out the White Sox defensively in right field.
So Scott Fletcher at second, Robin Ventura at third, getting a seat tonight. Graybeck was at third, Cora at second base for Jeff Torborg's White Sox, and Luis Polonia looks at ball one. Polonia hitting .338. So pretty good when you can put 338 followed by 387. Joyner at 1-2 in your lineup. Swings and fouls it back. 1-1. You see his on-base average is at 400. And with a runner on base, Wally Joyner has made the most of it the last few weeks, that's for sure. Polonia lays off one that's high and outside, and Fernandez is behind 2-1. And the Bulls go 2 up on the Champs. Champs have some work to do. Detroit Pistons. Ozzie Guillen makes it look easy as he throws out Polonia. There's one down. We'd like to welcome those of you that might have watched that game. We're no score here. Bottom of the first, the White Sox at the California Angels. And striding to the plate, the hottest hitter in the major leagues, Wally Absorbine Joyner. A 16-game hitting streak up to 387. And you have to do something to pass Dave Henderson the way he's been going this year. Wally, since he moved to the number 2 spot in the lineup, it has been Wally's world. Since he moved to the number 2 spot 2 weeks ago tonight, has hit 6 homers in the last 2 weeks. So in addition to his 387, he's second to Hendo in RBIs. And he now went from 1 homer to 7 homers. He homered that night. Everybody in the Angels homered that night. And he homered last night. Everybody in the Angels homered last night. They went 4 the 2 times we've been in the park. They like us here. Joyner is looking at the count at 1-1 against Alex Fernandez.
Wally made an adjustment in his swing. Wouldn't tell me what it was. Of course, he doesn't want to let everybody in the audience. Well, I'm not a pitcher now. I'm up in the booth, but he thinks that I'll talk about
pitchers.
I know. I can't lie about it. I'm a former pitcher. He made an adjustment so that he can get the bat head through the hitting zone much quicker. And he says there's not much pitchers can do when he's on. Now, he wasn't pretty much on that pitch. He got fooled by Alex Fernandez on that changeup there.
Alex will throw his changeup a lot. He'll throw 4 pitches. But there is Joyner against right-handers. Wow, a 4.51. Count is 2-2. 1 down, no one on in the Angels first. Inside, the count is full. One thing, we talked with Wally before the game, and we'll hear some of that maybe a little bit later, but he said it's not that the ball is coming in like a softball. There's Gaetti on deck. It's like everything is slowed down. It takes the pitch like 5 seconds to get to the plate. He can react. We hit that a shot. Cora bobbles it, but recovers in time to throw him out. So there are 2 down. Let's go quickly to John Saunders.
Well, you know they raised the fences at the Astrodome. Well, they're going to have to raise them quite a bit more to stop this one. Darryl Strawberry's 2nd home run of the night, 4th of the year. But the Dodgers weren't done. Next batter, Eddie Murray. Number 6 on the year, number 385 on his career. That's Chris and Jerry.
Wow. Well, that's what the Dodgers were talking about. Those guys hitting back-to-back in the lineup. And I'll tell you what, there's a lineup here in California that when they all get going can be comparable. Gary Gaetti hit a long home run last night. G-Man, new look free agent, coming over from the Twins. Hitting 3rd the last few nights. They flip-flop he and Winfield from 3 and 5. Didn't hit 3rd very much with the Twins. Hit some cleanup, hit some 5th.
And part of the reason for that move was the hitting in different counts. Gaetti was hitting better. There you see Dave Winfield sitting there. Will be up in 5th behind Dave Parker. But what happens? You get a better hitting percentage, or you see the ball better when you're ahead in the count or behind in the count. So Doug Rader, what he decided to do was flip-flop Gaetti from 5th to 3rd, and move Winfield down to 5th.
Well, Gaetti wears number 3. I mean, it's just helping everybody figure out where he should bat. That's all. It's very nice of Doug to do that. Gaetti swung through the fastball from Fernandez, and Fernandez ahead 1-2 in the count.
Boy, he has a good fastball tonight. He threw that 2-2 pitch into Joyner, up and in. The ball had some smoke on it. That pitch right there, another up and in pitch. White Sox teach that the minor leagues. They go up and in twice, and then they have a series of ways that they call putting away the hitter.
Well, he put away the bat, and the ball goes foul. So Gaetti will get some new lumber, and the count remains at 1-2. Gary, it's nice to replace your divot too.
And to do it so on national television.
Yeah,
what a gentleman right there.
Very nice, and it's a good example for you youngsters out there.
And Gary knows it. Look at that big smile right there.
Always replace your divot, and when you get a pitch like this, you have to replace your bat.
Pitchers always smile when they break the opposition's bat. Alex Fernandez won't show it. Nor will Gary Gaetti give him the satisfaction of looking at him after he broke his bat.
So Gary's got to grease up, tar up the new stick.
I always used to wonder, why wouldn't hitters go ahead and take care of that before the game? Maybe have 2 or 3 ready. Why do they have to redo it before they come up? Never could understand.
They want to make sure the game goes 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Okay.
Because the White Sox are in, and they know that, they want to slow it down.
Airtime. Airtime?
It's like running the 4 corners in college basketball in the old days. At any rate, we're set. Count is 1-2, none on, 2 down. Angels first, no score. Gaetti, did he hold off? Yes, he did, says first base umpire Dan Morrison. And the count is 2-2. Gaetti, one of 4 Angels that have more than 200 lifetime home runs. The only team in the majors with 4 guys in the lineup with over 200 lifetime homers. Holds off that one. It's outside. It's 3-2. We're talking, of course, Winfield, Parker, Gaetti, Lance Parrish, all with 200 or more home runs. There's Parkway, as they call him. Parkway in the interstate area, and that's another discussion. There's one deep to left field. Back goes Snyder. Does he have room? Yes. Gaetti got under it just a tad. If he had spent 10 more seconds of greasing up the bat, it would have been out. No score. Angels and White Sox. We've played one.
Why is this man smiling? Because Cincinnati's Hal Morris is tearing up National League pitching. He'll face sweet swinging RBI man Will Clark as the Reds meet the Giants live on ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball.
Baltimore Orioles in Detroit, and something rare for the Birds this year. Down 4-3, Paul Gibson to Tim Hewlett. This is a 2-run home run. Their last 17 before that were solo shots. They take a 5-4 lead. Back to Chris and Jerry.
Timmy Hewlett going deep. There's life in the Birds, yes. Top of the second here in Anaheim. Chris Berman along with Jerry Royce. The White Sox and the Angels. No score. A couple of good teams that will contend all year in the AL West. The White Sox, a very good young team. One of the good young players they have, Sammy Say It Ain't Sosa, the right fielder, hitting 5th against young lefty Jim Abbott. Swinging at the first pitch, Donnie Hill to Wally Joyner. 1 pitch, 1 out for Jim Abbott. So while the White Sox are a good young team, the Angels are a good veteran team. 2 different approaches to try and tackle the task at hand, which in the AL West is the Oakland A's. 1 pickup the White Sox made in the offseason, was Tim Raines. Another, this man, Corey Snyder. And a 160 average for Corey Snyder is not what he or the White Sox had in mind, that's for sure. There goes the bat and the ball, and Abbott handles both of them. The throw to Joyner. My goodness, you have to be quick to make a play like that. Plus, with Jimmy changing the glove and everything else, that's when you think about a play, that's a pretty tough play for him to make.
Absolutely, because what happens, and you'll see it from Jimmy Abbott's point of view right here, he sees both things, the bat and the ball, coming out at him. He has to discern which is which, go after the ball and duck the bat. He does a fine job of ducking the bat right there, changes the glove over to his right hand and throws it over to first base.
They're saying that's the problem, Corey. Get rid of that. That's a 160 bat. Get rid of that thing. So 2 pitches, 2 outs, and Craig Grayback playing third tonight instead of Robin Ventura. He's a guy that last year, both with the White Sox and AAA Vancouver, did not hit above 200, but this year, his limited playing time, he's made the most of it, 8 for 21. 1 pitch. Slug down the left field line. Polonia will race over to it, but Graybeck rounding first, and he'll be in the second with a stand-up double. So making the most of another opportunity, Craig Graybeck with our first extra base hit of the game, a 2-out double.
Certainly an aggressive hitter right there. Sees a pitch that he likes. It's a fastball, belt high. Gets the head of the bat through the strike zone, drives it into left field. Extra base hit. First pitch that Jim Abbott has got up in the strike zone early here in this ball game. We're only in the second innings. 2 hits for the White Sox.
And Joey Cora came over from the San Diego Padres. Again, only 14 at bats, but he's made the most of his limited opportunities. 6 for 14. And Cora looks at ball 1. Usually Scott Fletcher plays second base. Cora has played just about every position except pitcher. He caught a couple innings last year with the Padres. Ground ball to the right side. Bobby Rose to Joyner. And Abbott is out of it here into the top of the second. Graybeck is stranded at second base. No score.
Some people think he's a Superman. But when a 44-year-old has to throw 75 fastballs, even Nolan Ryan's muscles can ache. So after the game, it's the medicine doctors recommend most for sprains and strains, Advil.
For me, it's a couple of Advil, and those muscle aches are long gone. And Advil's gentler on my stomach than aspirin.
Today, it isn't aspirin or Tylenol acetaminophen. It's Advil.
I feel ready to go another 9 innings.
Advil, tablets and caplets, advanced medicine for pain.
This week in baseball's greatest plays. Catch baseball's best glove work on this new home video. Call 1-800-336-2100. See the game's most dazzling stars from Ozzie Smith to Willie Mays. All the heart-stopping action and excitement of today's superstars. To order for $19.95, call 1-800-336-2100. Visa and MasterCard orders only.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Bottom of the second here at Anaheim, no score. The Angels and the White Sox. And Big Dave Parker, he's going to hit cleanup till he comes out of it, says Doug Rader. Parker hitting a .180. And they're just waiting for Parker to get going. But typical of Doug Rader's upbeat style, and we talked to him before the game, Jerry said, hey, people forget Parker had a start like this last year for Milwaukee. He ended up being DH of the year, All-Star. And there's a shot that Thomas grabs. Boy, when you're hitting 280, those get through. When you're hitting 180, they get snared. Nice play by the youngster.
That's where frustration as a hitter or as a pitcher comes in. For a hitter, you see the ball, you get a good one on it, you get the bat out front, even though he broke that one. And you think that the ball's going through. They had you played perfectly. Nice play by Frank Thomas. Let's give the White Sox credit, particularly Joe Nosek, who sets up the defense for the White Sox. Dave, in frustration, goes back to the bat rack. He's had stretches like this during the course of his career. He knows he's going to come out of it. He knows he can still hit, and he will.
Here's a guy that can still hit, Dave Winfield. Swinging at the first pitch. Fernandez hustles off the mound, but it goes foul. Winfield homered last night, which was his 5th of the season. Hit one 2 weeks ago, the game we did against the Yankees, and that puts him at 383. I believe Murray going deep tonight makes him 385. So you see there's a great race with Murphy and Murray and Winfield and Dewey Evans. You also see Pudge and the Hawk. A great race to get to 400. I say this every time that those numbers are up there. Every player who is eligible for the Hall of Fame and has hit more than 400 home runs is in the Hall of Fame. That's what kind of milestone that is. Slug. Graybeck is there. Long throw to Thomas. And the Daves are gone, at least here in the second. It's Parrish coming up. So Alex Fernandez said last night, I'm going to pitch a lot better. I feel it. His confidence has never waned, although his numbers this year, especially the bottom, 19 runners per 9 innings. those numbers are not anything close to what his confidence would exude.
No, not at all. 19 base runners in 9 innings. Usually you want to keep that around 10 or 11, and you're really having an excellent season if you can keep it around there. But 19, those extra 7 runners, you can bet probably 4 or 5 of those during the course of the game will score. That's why you have a 7+ earned run average.
Yeah, but he's not pitching like that tonight. He's pitching like the confident youngster that came up out of Kaizen College at this time last year. See, people forget that Alex Fernandez last year at this time was pitching at Miami-Dade Junior College, where, by the way, as he misses with that, it's 2-0. He was all conference in 2 positions, both the pitcher and as outfielder DH. I mean, all conference in 2 different positions. Parrish fouls it off. It's 2-1.
Quite an athlete.
He had out all his innings last year with the junior college, plus a couple of stops in A-ball, and then Birmingham, where he was 4-0, and then with the White Sox, and he pitched 258 in the 3rd innings. Only Dave Stewart, organized baseball, pitched more innings last year than Alex Fernandez. Strike 2-2.
Something interesting about the White Sox. We've talked, you and I, and you'll probably say some more during the course of this game, about the young pitching staff that they have. And notice, or you remember last year, how well that they did. There's Jeff Torborg, who should be given quite a bit of credit for that young pitching staff. To give you some idea of the years of service as Parrish hits that ground ball across
to Thomas. And another 1, 2, 3 innings for Alex Fernandez. We've played 2, no score.
Miller High Life presents Streaks, Peaks, and Valleys. Streaks, Wally Joyner, a man you're watching right now for the Angels in a 16-game hitting streak. Entering tonight, Peaks, Jeff Reardon earned his 300th save last night. 4th pitcher ever to do so. And Valleys, entering tonight's play, Alan Trammell had gone 4 for his last 40. He had a single and a double. Back to you.
All right, John, thank you. Top of the 3rd inning here in California, the Angels and the White Sox, 2 teams that have designs on first place in the American League West. Well, every team except Kansas City is at 500 or above in this division, so everyone with legitimate designs on first place. The second of a 3-game series here in Anaheim. Nazi Guillen, number 9 batter, leads off the 3rd and over a leaping Gaetti, who is in guarding the bunt. So first pitch and a hit for Guillen to lead off the 3rd.
He's quite a shortstop defensively, but offensively, when he hits and hits successfully, it's because he can take the ball the opposite way, whether it's a left-hander or a right-hander. He draws the 3rd baseman in case of a bunt, and is just able to put the ball over his head or past him on the ground for a base hit.
So Tim Purple Raines is up, struck out to lead off the game. Guillen on first, no score, top of the 3rd. Off-speed pitch, misses for ball 1. Timmy Raines appeared in 7 straight All-Star games for the Expos from 81 to 87. Trade the day before Christmas brought him over here to the White Sox. Abbott will keep an eye on Guillen. The White Sox, now we mentioned, Jerry, this is their first not only trip out here, it's their first games against the American League West. And home and home with the A's and Angels these next 2 weeks. You see what they did against these 2 California teams last year. So they're kind of licking their chops a little bit, whereas most teams would fear the A's and the Angels.
33 games to start off the season against the National League East. Now you have a chance to go after the people who are your direct opponents in your own division. A very important 14-game swing they have right here.
And out here last year, we'll show you that in a moment, they had tremendous West Coast swings. There goes Guillen. Parrish's throw. It's wide, and Guillen has the stolen base. So for Ozzie, and he may be hurt on the play. Let's take a look. His 6th stolen base.
There's the high throw by Parrish as Ozzie Guillen slides headfirst into second base. Now, if I could venture a guess, what happens is the belt buckle. Because he slides headfirst, goes straight into his stomach area. It's the same problem he used to have a couple of years ago when I played there.
Count is 2-2 now to Tim Raines.
Now all of a sudden I'm a doctor, huh?
Dr. Royce is in. That's a scary thought. I don't even ask you what kind of doctor you might be. None out, top of the 3rd. Guillen the runner at second base. Single and now stolen a base. Count is 2-2 to Timmy Raines. No score, Angels, White Sox, top innings 3. Misses. The count is full of 3-2. Jim Abbott, winner of his last 3 starts. Lance Johnson on that. Abbott's marked now at 3 and 4. Trying to work on this one, and for the second time tonight, he gets Tim Raines swinging. Let's swing it over to John Saunders.
Mariners in the Royals. Seattle in first place in the West here, but Warren Cromartie puts a damper on that. Out to left field. McRae comes around to score, breaking a 3-3 tie. It's now 4-3 final. Let's get it back to Chris and Jerry. I wasn't doing the...
That's all right, John. You can get excited. Don't worry about it. I mean, there's an exciting one by the Royals. And so now we could go seesaw back and forth in first place. The A's could jump back up on top if they can handle the Blue Jays. They couldn't handle Boomer Wells last night. 1 out. Here's Lance Johnson. Major Lance Johnson. Had some big hits in the early 60s, didn't he?
Yes, he did. You're getting better. You are getting better with the 50s and 60s.
I'm sure you remember those hits. Holds off. No, it's a ball, says Tim Welke at third base. You remember those hits? Just throwing it out quickly.
Sure. With 6 ums.
Yep.
And monkey time.
There you go. I knew I wouldn't slip that one past you. He's gone with runners in scoring position this year because you can see he's on the interstate. 094. 1-0 pitch. But basically, that's the problem with the White Sox. They don't score runs. I mean, they don't have a lot of power. They knew that. They won over 90 games last year. That's not a problem. But they're last in scoring runs in the American League. Jeff Torborg is waiting. Although he won't go long ball, it's tough when you know you have to manufacture runs and hope you hang on. Count is 3-0 to Lance Johnson.
What happens? It puts pressure on your defense because you have to try to make a great play rather than just being out there, being loose and making routine plays. The pitching feels the pressure, knowing that they have to make a perfect pitch in a situation where runs can score. As Lance Johnson looks at strike 1. So all of these things are interrelated. You score some runs, pitchers are a little more relaxed when they go out there knowing they have a lead. The defense plays a little better knowing that the pitchers are relaxed. All of these things go hand in hand.
3-1 pitch, foul into the Angel dugout. Look out. Or right above the dugout. And that'll mess up some nachos in a hurry. We need another play. Oh, I wore the leather coat tonight. What, am I, an idiot? Oh, nacho cheese on the call. Oh, man. Who got us these seats? These are awful. I never want to sit first row behind the dugout again. Oh, my hand. They hit a net. Wash and dries here. Count is full to Lance Johnson. Foul back. Hold your nachos. That's in the second deck. Tomorrow night here on ESPN, the Cincinnati Reds host the San Francisco Giants. Boy, the Giants lose another one-run game tonight at Cincy 3-2. But they have some sticks. They're just waiting for them to come out flying. We'll have those two teams on the third game of our Troika Memorial Night. 3-2 pitch, and that's hit to center field. Dave Gallagher doesn't get it. Guillen will score, and now Gallagher's going to talk to Jim Evans at second base, and here comes Rader. Evans went out, made the call in a hurry, and Rader's going to make sure he saw it clearly.
Now, Doug says from the dugout, I saw that he caught the ball. He's asking Dave Gallagher right there.
He didn't say, I thought he caught it. He says, I've got my glasses on, Jim. I could see it from the dugout. How could you miss it? Gallagher played it immediately like he had it, like there was no question.
Gallagher's a good defensive center fielder. Read the ball well, came in, made a sliding pickup. Doug Rader unhappy, to say the least, about this situation.
Well, what do you think? Let's take a look. Here's Gallagher coming on. It's a catch.
I think, if anything, Jim Evans saw that the ball bounces as it's in the glove. It bounces up, and Gallagher still has control of it.
Guys. Did it ever see grass there? Well, unless that rolled out a little bit onto the grass, which Gallagher didn't play like that, it looks from that shot like Rader had a major beef. But it doesn't matter. The White Sox have the 1-0 lead. The big first baseman Frank Thomas up, and Lance Johnson on with an RBI single. But had it gone the other way, it would have been an easy double play because Guillen was around third when Gallagher made the play.
Now you see Lance Parrish out talking to Jim Abbott. They missed a sign right there. That was a pitch out, a call for a pitch out. You could see Parrish leaving his position, ready to stand up, guessing, of course, that Lance Johnson might steal. But let's
look at this again. Let's see if we can keep it going and see if it rolls. There's the ball in the glove. Well,
from this vantage point, we have to say that he caught the ball.
Jim Evans had a better look at it than we did, but from that shot, it looked as if it was a catch. I know former National League umpire John Kidler is in the booth and on his way in our truck tonight, and is on his way up here to
clarify the situation.
Absolutely. How dare you look at them and make a call from up in the booth. John's son Jeff, one of our staunchest of workers here on the Hotel California crew. At any rate, the White Sox have scored a run on their fourth hit. There's still one out with Johnson at first, inside to Thomas, and Abbott is behind 2-0.
Doug Rader's still not happy about that, giving signs to Lance Parrish. Somewhere in there was a sign that tells Parrish whether there's going to be a pitch out or just what. Well, not on that pitch. That's a cut fastball up and in to Frank Thomas.
And so Abbott, the Angels have lost their concentration here. With a call like that can go the other way, and then can a pitcher lose his concentration? Maybe Abbott has here.
Well, certainly he has, because he's fallen behind the last couple of hitters. Right now, he's 3-0.
And 4-0. So he loses Thomas on 4 pitches. So 2 on for Carlton Fisk. Let's go to John Saunders.
The walk for Jim Abbott, but here's a guy who rarely struggles with his control. Craig Olson here facing Cecil Fielder. One of the most wicked curveballs in the game. Baltimore hangs on and wins it 5-4. Olson his 5th save. Back to you.
All right, John. So Greg Olson was golden on that curveball to Cecil. And the pitching coach Marcel Latchman trying to relax Abbott, because with 2 on and the dangerous Carlton Fisk up, this inning could get away from Abbott and the Angels.
You're getting into the danger zone of that White Sox lineup. You give them a chance. You give any team a chance. You put the number 4 hitter up there, walk a couple of guys. We are asking for trouble. But Marcel tried to do at that point. Relax, Abbott. It's a situation you're only a run down. You get an out right here, you're out of the inning.
Johnson at second, Thomas at first, 1 down, a run in, top of the 3rd. Fisk. Fair ball past Gaetti. Johnson will score easily. Thomas being held up at third. The throw to second, and Fisk is in with a double. So a close one down the line, but just inside the bag. And Pudge with his 13th RBI of the year. It's 2-0 Chicago with 2 runners in scoring position.
It's a breaking pitch, low and in. Fisk, a good low ball hitter, particularly inside, drives this ground ball past the diving Gaetti, goes down into the left field corner. Polonia picks it up, but not before Lance Johnson scores. Frank Thomas into third, and Carlton Fisk with an RBI sliding into second. So the Sox here in the 3rd inning take a 2-0 lead.
And they will put on Sammy Sosa to load him up with 1 down for the struggling Corey Snyder. You saw Rader look at the lineup card, saw that Snyder was up 6th, and that was an easy decision. But what a way for Snyder to bust at him and possibly to bust it loose. So 2 singles, one the disputed one by Lance Johnson, a double, and now 2 walks here in the White Sox 3rd. 2 are in. The bases are full for Corey Snyder, who hit one back to the box that Abbott made a beautiful play on, avoiding a splintered bat and fielding the ball, throwing over to first. So big situation early in this ball game, Jerry, both for Jim Abbott and for the White Sox.
You look for turning points in a ball game, key situations. This is where this one will work up to be. The White Sox already scored 2.
First pitch, low, ball 1. Jim Abbott trying to settle things down and hold the fort to only 2 runs. Boy, would he love a double play ball right now. He'll take the strike call, though. It's 1-1.
Interesting pitch selection. A curveball, then a changeup. Snyder's a dead fastball hitter. What you're trying to do is look for a situation or throw a pitch where Snyder will either pop it up or strike out, or hopefully hit into a double play.
He ripped that one foul down the left field line. Lefty Scott Haybales up throwing in the pen very early. Angels bullpen, as you mentioned at the start of the show, Jerry, the best ERA in the American League. But the 3rd inning is much earlier than Doug Rader wants to have to see his bullpen. Abbott ahead 1-2. Tries to nibble, doesn't get it. 2-2. Bases loaded, 1 down. Frank Thomas at third. There's Fisk at second. Sammy Sosa at first after the intentional pass. Hit to center field. Dave Gallagher makes the catch. Thomas holds as Joyner cuts it off. Fly to medium center field. Thomas not slow, not that fast. Now the throw ended up being up the line. That might have been a heck of a collision between Thomas and Parrish had that ball gone through and he'd gone.
It would have been interesting. However, we'll never know. Gallagher, probably the best defensive outfielder on this Angel ball club, particularly in the lineup tonight, goes after this ball, sets himself perfectly, sees the ball come down, is in position to throw after he catches the ball, fires it in, holds the runner Frank Thomas at third.
Here's Craig Graybeck, who's average with the double in the 1st inning. He's so fine, it's 409 in his limited action. But he ripped the double back in the 2nd inning. Curveball inside, ball 1.
Graybeck hit a fastball 1st inning. 2nd inning, that is. Drove it down in the left field corner. Got a high fastball. Abbott, interesting pitch selection again. Starts him off something soft, a curveball.
Bases still full of Sox. Time is called. Graybeck wants to step out. Frank Thomas, big fella at third base. Carlton Fisk at second. Sammy Sosa, who can scoot on an extra base hit, is at first. Low, 2-0. much of the counts this inning. 2 singles, double, 2 walks, one of them intentional. Doug Rader still he has that look. He's still not pleased at all with Jim Abbot's call on the disputed single. 2-1. Because without the single by John, that would have been a double play and it would be a scoreless game. But that's gone. Can't do anything about that. Young Craig Graybeck, 26 years of age. Went to school not far from here, Cal State Dominguez Hills.
It's on the way home. We'll go past it tonight.
I know you will. 2-1 pitch, grounded foul.
Well, Abbott fell behind, 2 balls, no strikes, comes in with a fastball, then a 2-1 curveball. Now he's got the count 2-2, is 1 strike away from getting out of this inning.
You know, I just turned around and got a very scary sight. As advertised, John Kibler is in the booth. I know what we're going to hear between innings. I know.
Former great National League umpire.
Of course.
Always a pleasure to see John here in Anaheim or in San Diego.
Bases full of Sox. 2 out. Count 2-2 and the ground ball. The Donnie Hill shovels it to Bobby Rose. And a nice job by Abbott getting out of what could have been a disastrous inning. But the White Sox played a pair. They lead it 2-0. So after sending 8 men to the plate at the top of the 3rd and getting 2 runs, the White Sox and Alex Fernandez find themselves leaders here in the bottom of the 3rd. 2-0 with the 7, 8, 9 hitters coming up. Bobby Rose, Donnie Hill, and Dave Gallagher. 3 guys who a week ago were calling themselves the Scuds, sitting comfortably until deployed squadron, meaning the Angels bench. And Donnie Hill actually came up with the motto, bench me or trade me. But you know they enjoy getting out there and having a chance to show what they can do. Bobby Rose playing second base. Soho has a bad hamstring. Rose will probably play tomorrow. Soho, after the off day Thursday, probably be back in there on Friday night against the Blue Jays. Ball 1 outside. Bobby Rose, we asked him before the game, Tokyo Rose or Rambling Rose?
He left it up to us.
What did we decide on the 1-0 pitch?
Depends on how he does at key at bat.
All right, we'll decide by the end of the game. I'm leaning toward Rambling Rose.
Well, you were
Tokyo
Tokyo
baseball.
Rose early.
Yeah, I was Tokyo Rose early, but I think it's Rambling Rose because on an extra base hit, he could be rambling, and you know, then you can get into all other Nat King Cole songs like Lazy, Hazy, Crazy Days of Summer. 1-1 pitch from Fernandez. Swung foul back by Rose. Young man saw limited action last year and the year before with the Angels. 24 years of age, San Dimas, California.
It's just past Dominguez Hills.
Well, will you pass that on your way home, too?
Pass that on the way home.
Give my regards to San Dimas. We have 1-2 pitch off speed. Oh, off the leg of Fernandez. Look at him recover. And now let's see if he's hurt. Melito Perez took a shot off the leg last night and went on to pitch 3-4 more innings. And we'll have to take a look at Alex Fernandez. Jeff Torborg out, trainer out.
Mark Anderson, the trainer, going out. Let's take a look at this. It's a shot. 1 hop, hits the mound, get your head out of there. Ouch, off the shin. That got boned.
Way to keep the puck in front of you, though. And look at he went after that relaxed. Well, I don't want to say relaxed, but didn't try and overplay the ball. Knew he had time.
It's a reaction play. The pain doesn't set in unless the guy gets a base hit on it. But then once you get the out, then reality strikes you, and you say, I've got to do something about this. Let's see how bad this is.
Well, let's hope it's not bad.
They're probably going to have him throw a couple of pitches. That's the 7th consecutive hitter he's got out so far in this game.
Fernandez has looked as good as he has all year. I know his mom and dad, Nellie and Angel, looking on in Miami, over in the borders. We hope he's all right. Now, he's got the smile. That's a good sign. Now watch this. He's limping. But no, we got to avoid that. I'm hurt, but I can't step on the line. So he's all right.
He's okay. Well, he kept his senses about him even though he's injured. Last night, Melito Perez, you talked about the fact that he got hit with a pitch coming back to him.
Well, we'll see while Alex Fernandez takes a couple of tosses to see how his leg is. Man whose legs are always fine, John Saunders.
Sitting in this chair, that's easy. The Cubs and the Mets, the other half of Chicago. 2 on in the ninth. John Franco to Chico Walker and Kevin McReynolds, who had a big night at the plate, driving in a couple of runs. 8-6 final. Listen to it.
So Fernandez looks to be okay. Cubs, the change. Nothing improved thus far. Alex Fernandez, little gimpy here. But it looks like he will continue.
Talking about Melito Perez, I asked him, I said, now you were hurt, and yet you went on and pitched 5 or 6 innings. You can have an injury, something like that. Does your shoulder, anything hurt? He says, yeah, my neck. And I said, why your neck? He says, because of all those 4 home runs that I gave up. I was jerking my neck looking at him going over the fence.
One of them hit by this guy last night, the big blow. You think of the big guys on the Angels, but Donnie Hill had the 3-run homer. In 19 games, has 19 hits, has scored 17 runs, so he is a definite scud who has hit. And that will be snared by Snyder. So 8 up, 8 down against Alex Fernandez. And Dave Gallagher coming up involved in the controversial play in the top half of the inning. The little flare by Lance Johnson. Does he get it? Well, Jim Evans said no. Gallagher and Doug Rader were emphatic yes. It resulted in an RBI single for Lance Johnson. Had it been a catch, it would have been a double play, and the Angels would have been out of the inning without any runs scored. But can't do anything about that. Gallagher, who went 5 for 5 Sunday against the Orioles, looking like the second coming of Ty Cobb. 5 singles and 5 at-bats. Hitting .387 coming into the game. Junior Felix. A strained right calf, so Gallagher has been getting the shot in center field. The count is 1-1.
Interesting. If you read the press guide on Dave Gallagher, he says he was an all-state soccer player, an inventor. Well, he is an inventor. A device called the stride tutor. Now, what is the stride tutor? It's a chain, and on the ends of this chains are 2 Velcro wraps. And what it does, a hitter in the cage puts this on. When he swings, it keeps him from overstriding. He's getting a patent for this. All this sort of things. Hope to market it. Now, in Kangaroo Court, we used to fine him because every time he would go out and talk on TV, we called it advertising fee.
Well, it was.
It's exactly what it was. He would do an interview and talk about this thing. And, of course, I'm sitting here, and I'm advertising it all over our network.
You have just been fined by the Kangaroo Court. From Trenton, New Jersey, Dave Gallagher. With a few stops, holds back, and works the count against Alex Fernandez. The full 3-2. See if Fernandez is bothered yet in his stride. That's something we'll have to keep our eye on the next couple innings.
Here it is, the impersonal and miscellaneous in this perfectly designed press guide that we have here. The inventor of the stride tutor, selected to the New Jersey's Inventors Hall of Fame. Come on, David. As he hits a ground ball a second.
Play is made by Cora, so 9 up, 9 down for Alex Fernandez. We've played 3-0 White Sox.
This is a commercial about a love affair. A love affair between all of us and a game. A game we grew up watching and playing and talking about. It's with that feeling in mind that MCI has created Friends and Family. Now, every time MCI customers call another customer on their Friends and Family list, they save an extra 20%. Enough to go to a few more games. Call now and enter to win a trip to the All-Star Game for you and 12 friends and family.
Why is this man smiling? Because Cincinnati's Hal Morris is tearing up National League pitching. He'll face sweet swinging RBI man Will Clark as the Reds meet the Giants live on ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball.
Jays and A's last night with a 1-0 game, but not tonight. An explosion in the third. Kirk Dressendorfer with the bases loaded to Greg Myers. He finds the gap as Henderson runs it down. Roberto Alomar comes in. Joe Carter follows him. John Olerud, that made it 4-0. It's now 6-zip after Chris and Jerry.
The Blue Jays enjoying the Oakland pitching tonight and working a shutout for the second straight night. So both of these managers know that Seattle has lost. They'll like the fact that Oakland's down 6-0. Angels win tonight. They'd be within 1 game of first place as we start here in the top of the 4th inning with the number 8 hitter Joey Cora. Grounded to second his first time up. The White Sox win tonight. They'd be 3 back. So everybody in it. And everybody at or above 500 except for the Royals. White Sox at 500. In 6th place, but only 4 games out.
Jim Abbott falling behind the hitter Joey Cora. 2 quick pitches last inning. 30 pitches for Jim Abbott.
Gets his strike. Yes, gets his strike there. Abbott looked pretty good the first 2 innings.
Then he lost his. It appeared he lost his concentration. Fell behind a couple of hitters, and of course that controversial play with Dave Gallagher in center field had some problem after that.
Cora lofts the fly ball to right field. Dave Winfield is there, and there is 1 down. Friday night here on ESPN, next double dip night, and our first game, the Dodgers at the Reds. Norm Charlton, the fireballing lefty for Cincinnati, against the ERA leader, Ramon Martinez. When Ramon pitches, there's always a rock and roll high school, the way he fires the ball. 7-1 leads the league in ERA. And we'll see what he does at Riverfront against the defending champs. Ozzie Guillen singled, stole second, and scored on the disputed single by Lance Johnson. Ozzie led off the 3rd inning with all that mischief, and he looks at strike 1 from Jim Abbott. The White Sox, top of the 4th, Chris Berman along with Jerry Ruess here in Anaheim. 2 teams you'll be hearing about all season long, trying to chase down the A's and Mariners in the West. Boy, Gaetti is seeing the balls fly all over him. That one hops over him. Guillen with a big turn. And so Gaetti, who played in the last time up, and Guillen rifled one over his head. This time, Gaetti sees the hopper goes over his head. He had another one bounce past him down the line by Fisk.
That's a fastball out over the plate. Guillen goes right with it, drives it over the head of Gaetti this time. So it's a ground ball over his head, a line drive the first time. He came around to score. Ozzie Guillen is doing what he does best, and that is keep the ball driving past the infielders or just over their heads. He's staying out of the air.
Of course, the next time then Gaetti will play back so he can field all these things, and Guillen will drop down a bunt. That's what the speed can do for you. Guy with some speed that hasn't been able to use it tonight, Tim Raines. Looks at strike 1. He has struck out swinging twice tonight. Raines DH tonight. We know he can run. There's his average. Worse with runners aboard. So it's going to be really scuffling, as they say. It's a guy that won the National League batting championship in 1986 with a .334 average. So,
well, remember this. It's the first time he's ever been traded. He spent the bulk of his career, 12 years, 80 through 1990. That's 11 full years with the Montreal Expos. You know everybody in the organization. As Abbott catches Guillen off base, picks him off.
Good job by Abbott. Didn't lose his concentration there, as Guillen, who stole the base the first time, is picked off. Joyner with the throw.
That goes as caught stealing. He threw over there twice. This time he kept his head pointed toward home plate, then picked it up as he threw. Guillen misread it, was going on first movement, and they throw him out easily. Fine play all around for the California Angels there.
Nice slide by Ozzie, though, trying to avoid sliding away from where the ball was, but Donnie Hill was ready for it. So now nobody on the 0-1 pitch. And Abbott just a little bit outside. It's 1-1.
When a player spends his entire career with one organization, you know everybody in the organization, you really haven't experienced anything anywhere else. That's a big enough change, but to change leagues and with so much pressure, So many things expected from him. Well, at this point, he just hasn't caught up.
He's behind 1-2. MVP of the '87 All-Star game. Game that went extra innings in Oakland. Had the two-run triple, I believe it was. They won it 2-0 the AL that year. The Rays will just take any sort of a bleeding base hit at this point in this game. Lifetime 301 hitter. Not that guy, but Tim Rainsers. So he had no nachos, didn't have the leather coat. He was ready for the ball.
But the guy next to him spilled stuff all over his pants.
Oh, the tantalizing change.
Took something off a curveball right there. Had a little bit of a loop.
It's like a football.
Kind of gives it away a little bit right there because he slowed his arm down just a bit.
That's a football.
Yeah.
2-2 pitch. Up top. Count is full. Raiders, Angels, behind 2-0 here in the top of the fourth. Rays staying alive. If he gets on, he certainly hasn't been bashful in going. He has 8 stolen bases. The problem has been getting on. Gaetti is there for the one-hopper. Over to Joyner. And the White Sox are gone here in the top of the fourth. But they continue to lead it 2-0. Bottom of the fourth here at Anaheim, the White Sox behind Alex Fernandez lead the Angels 2-0. So we'll keep an eye on Alex Fernandez after he took the shot off the leg, but first time through the order, nobody got on.
He's doing quite a job right here. He had a high earned run average coming into this, but of course everything's going okay right now. So let's see how he does.
Golden Spikes Award winner from last year. Pitched the year for Ron Frazier at Miami. Then went to Miami-Dade Junior College. Would have been essentially his sophomore year. He's only 21 years of age. And now he starts Louis Polonia off with a curveball for a strike. Fernandez will throw 4 pitches. The fastball, the slider, the curveball, and the change. And you can see that when he's on, he works quickly. And there's the first base hit. I know we mentioned it. 9 up, 9 down. And Polonia starts off the fourth with a base hit. So with Wally Joyner in a 16-game hitting streak coming up next, let's go to John Saunders.
Budweiser takes us now to Oakland. Jim Acker in the third with a 6-0 lead, facing Jose Canseco. Canseco on the inside pitch, up near his eyes, still jacks it out. It's 6-1 on his 5th of the year. Chris and Jerry.
So Wally Joyner ran into second his first time up. Oh, that one almost got away. Fernandez, that's the worst pitch he's made tonight. He almost threw it past Frank Thomas. You know Polonia can go. Here's the throw again.
Frank Thomas used all of that 6'5" frame to catch that ball.
Polonia, the league leader in stolen bases with 13. And Fernandez certainly well aware of that. And that's what Polonia doing so well. That's one of the things Joyner talked about, being on base so much. Maybe the pitchers lose some concentration, and rightfully so. Maybe that's added to Wally Joyner's success, but he has just been seeing every pitch. That one is inside for a ball.
When you have a base stealer like Polonia on base, Ricky Henderson even more so, or Tim Raines, guys like that who have a reputation to steal, what happens to a pitcher when he's out there? He divides his attention between the runner and the hitter. Sometimes you don't give it fully your attention once you've made a decision.
So that's the third time Fernandez has gone over there. 21 years of age, 4th overall pick in the draft last June. Inside, 2-0. So now Joyner has the count his way. With runners aboard, over 400. And runners usually involve Luis Polonia in Joyner's case. Certainly the last couple weeks as he's hit second. The lineup change made by manager Doug Rader 2 weeks ago tonight. Since that change, involving Joyner going to second at the time Winfield going to third, the Angels have gone 9-4. And Joyner has taken over the league lead in average. Curveball, strike. 2-1.
Well, that's a fastball situation. You would expect a fastball if you're a hitter and the guy's behind. Fastball is usually a young pitcher's best pitch. But you can understand now why he was such a good pitcher in college, because he can get the off-speed pitch over when he's behind in the count.
Off-speed again at 2-1, and that one just missed outside. And now the count is 3-1. None out. Polonia at first base, bottom of the fourth, 2-0 White Sox. Polonia the single, the first hit allowed by young Alex Fernandez. Very pleasant, very mature young man, very confident. Joyner fouls it back. The count is full. Wally Joyner, one of a handful of players that had over 100 RBIs his first 2 years. Only 9 players in the history of baseball have had 100 or more RBIs their first 2 years. Others on the list include Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio. It's a good list. I went on a limb with that. There goes the runner. It's ball 4, and 2 are aboard for Gary Gaetti. So Jeff Torborg probably watching the way Fernandez strides. You detect anything in the motion after you got hit with the line drive last inning?
No, I don't see anything. I don't see a problem with his delivery or his release point, anything like that. I think his attention was divided, and Polonia did just exactly what he does best, and that distracts the pitcher. Now, pitcher gives him the chance to steal, he'll do that too. And now you've got a situation where you got runners on first and second. The momentum can swing the Angels' way right here, unless Fernandez can get a ground ball here.
Well, with nobody on, Gaetti below the Mendoza line. With runners on, he's hitting .417.
Remember what Doug Rader told us prior to the ball game? You take a situational hitter. This is why Gaetti's hitting third right now.
He's hit third the last few days. He and Winfield have flip-flop from 3 to 5 in the order. So Gaetti, who flew out to left field to end the first inning, has a chance to get the Angels on the board. Very fast Luis Polonia at second base. Wally Joyner at first. And Gaetti and Parker coming up next. I mean, you have people you can easily double up. That's the good news for the White Sox. The bad news is 2 on, none out. Swinging and chops it over third base coach Bobby Thigpen. One thing the Angels have done with runners aboard or runners in scoring position, lead the league in batting average. That's why they're a hot team.
Plus that good bullpen. We got some pretty good starting pitching.
Yeah, a pair of lefties named Finley and Langston are 12-2 combined. That's pretty good starting pitching. Maybe a lefty named Fernando on the way. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But right now, the Angels trying to do it with the bat, not on the mound. 2-0 White Sox, bottom of the fourth. 2 on, none out. Gaetti the batter with a 1-1 count. Misses. 2-1. So Fernandez, who works quickly with nobody on, now goes from 78 to 33 RPMs when he's on the mound with runners on, for good reason.
Well, your pacing's just a little different. You've got a sequence of pitches. You've got to remember who's coming up next. You're coming through the power part of that Angel lineup. Ground ball. That'll get up
the middle, and Polonia will come around and score. Joyner stops at second base. The Angels have scored and have cut the deficit to 2-1. So the shortstop, Guillen, was way over in the hole with the pull hitter, Gaetti, up. A ball that, if he's playing natural short, he might have had a shot to get.
A lot of people believe that would be a routine ground ball. Yes, it was a routine ground ball. However, as you said, Guillen playing way in the hole, expecting Gaetti to pull. Now, in the clubhouse meetings before the ball game, what the players do is talk how they're going to defense guys and how the pitcher's going to pitch them. Gaetti, of course, hitting well with runners on base this year. Continues to do just that.
So again, runners at first and second, a run in. And Dave Parker, who hit one on the nose, but the line drive snared by Frank Thomas at first, his first time up, looks at a slow curve for strike one. Parker just one homer and 8 RBIs and an average of below 200. Up top for a ball. And a lot of people are saying, well, remember Brian Downing? He could have still been DH here. Signed by Texas. And Mr. Angel, really, those are some telling numbers. But Dave Parker is no 180 batter. I mean, let's not assume. No one's surprised that Downing is hitting this well. But Parker won't continue to go this way. They're just waiting for Big Parker to get things going.
Last year at this point, Parker just had a home run, a couple of RBIs, went on to finish the season with 21 home runs, came close to 100 RBIs, was the designated hitter of the year.
The batting champ a couple of times in the National League. That's a long time ago. That's when you and he spent some time in Pittsburgh, 77, 78.
He said before the ball game that he was hearing the fans boo him last night, and rightfully so. He said it kind of reminded him of Pittsburgh, except in Pittsburgh during those years he was winning batting titles.
Yeah, and they were throwing batteries. They don't do that here. They throw maybe some avocado, some sprouts, some nachos if you hit it hard enough into the stand.
They spill the nachos. They don't throw nachos.
They just spill on the field. One run in. It's 2-1 White Sox. 2 on. 2-2 pitch to Parker. He holds off. And the count is full.
The book on Parker is if you're going to throw him fastballs, get them in about belt high. Came in with 3 fastballs belt high. Go for the strikeout. Throw a breaking ball out of the strike zone, in the dirt preferably.
With none out, do you send guys on 3 and 2 with Winfield on deck? Do you send Joyner at least?
No, I wouldn't think so with Parker hitting as low as he is, not making contact.
Let's see. And Dave will want some time. Dave wanted to ponder that question, too.
Well, he hears us up here.
He hears us up here. That's why he's hitting 180.
Knows that between the two of us, we have a lot to say.
No game is too long for us. Full count, none down, 2 on. Curveball, grounded foul past first base coach Bruce Hines. Dan Morrison, the umpire, doing a little housekeeping, picking up the ball. So we'll do it again to Dave Parker. He was unbelievable in those years at Pittsburgh. A guy that size hitting over 330.
When he came to the plate, the ballpark took on a different dimension. It seemed to get small because of his size. That, in fact, this was prior to all those years in AstroTurf. He could really run.
Three-two pitch on the way. Fastball. Parker hits it to left. Snyder is there. The runner's going nowhere. And there's one down. Let's scoot over to John Saunders.
Rangers and the Twins now. Jeff Houston will try and steal second. The throw from Harper is not even close. Steve Buechele comes in to score. That made it 6-3, 6-5 final. 8 consecutive games won by the Rangers, tying a club record. Back to Chris and Jerry.
So if the A's continue, John, to get bombarded tonight by the Jays, then the Rangers would be 1 out. The Angels could win tonight. They would be 1 out before teams within a game, but that's some ifs yet. The Angels are still trailing 2-1, and Big Dave Winfield is up. Mama said there'd be Daves like this. First it's Parker, now it's Winfield. Grounded to third his first time up. Fastball up top for a ball. Winfield, one of 4 Angels to homer last night. We're in Anaheim, 2-1 White Sox. Here in the bottom of the 4th, Chris Berman along with Jerry Ruess. You see some of the other scores. Scores are us. Look at that. Every score you want, there it is. Red Sox, double digits. Winfield fouls it back. It's 1-1. There's that Mariner loss we've been talking about. The A's, despite the Canseco blast, still way behind. Hey, that's us.
The score of that,
you have that in your contract? Did they put that up there every half inning or something?
Well, especially with your name on top.
No.
Is that in your contract?
It's alphabetical, pal.
I see.
Count is 1-1. Joyner, the runner at second base. Gaetti, the runner at first. 1 run in, courtesy of Gaetti's RBI single. Alex Fernandez trying to stop the bleeding. Leave his team ahead 2-1. Misses low and outside. The count is 2-1 to Winfield. And there is a man for whom my partner was once traded.
That's him.
Do you root for him?
Absolutely.
You were traded from the White Sox to the Brewers for Brian Draymond.
Went to spring training in 1989 with the White Sox. One of the first things I did was look the young man up, say hello to him.
Fernandez with a curve.
An off-speed pitch. It looked like a curveball. It didn't quite break. Maybe it was a backup slider. I'm surprised with the size of someone like Winfield, that wasn't called a strike.
Here it is. Whoa. I'm surprised Dave didn't unload on it personally, even though it was a ball. That one could have had some fur on it if he got in front of it. So Fernandez had retired all 9 batters he had faced going into this inning. 2 singles and a walk thus far here in the 4th. The count is 3-1 to Winfield. Popped up. This will go foul, and the count is full. Now, I'm going to ask you the same question. There are now 1 out, rather than none out. Parrish is up next. Do you send runners? Joyner not unbelievably fast, the lead runner at second base. Neither is Gaetti at first. Do you send them? Or do you figure with Parker, Winfield, and Parrish, one of those 3 is going to get at least a single to tie the game?
I would say with 1 out, 3-2 count, I would probably send him at this point. I guess because a ground ball will keep you out of double play. And it ends the inning if he hits into a double play. A lot of pitches by Alex Fernandez. 36 pitches the first 3 innings. Quite economical. This inning, however, 24. That's why we see Brian Draymond warming up. It's been a long inning. A couple of long innings. Abbott had one where he threw 30 pitches.
Well, it's the White Sox. Of course it's long. Count is full. 2 on, 1 out. Winfield throws the bat at the ball. This could be a little trouble, but Ozzie Guillen says the ball stays up there long enough. And he makes the play. And now there are 2 down. So they didn't send the runners, figuring that either Parker, Winfield, or now Lance Parrish will get a single. They're going with the big guys, figuring they will deliver.
Well, these are the guys that they bring over to this ball club to hit home runs, to drive in runs. And maybe to Doug Rader, he feels he takes the bat out of their hands. Maybe it's just a hunch. So much of managing, there's really no book that anybody goes by. It's just a set of guidelines. It's accepted from team to team. And the manager has the first guess. He took it. We sit up here. We can second guess.
Lance Parrish up, grounded to short. His first appearance in the 2nd inning. Way outside. Nice play by Fisk.
Skate save, even though that you see him scoot along on those shin guards right there, those sore knees. Watch this. He sets up inside. The ball goes away, comes across, gets his hand over there quickly. Not enough time to get his body in front of that pitch completely.
He's skated outside a few times in his day, hasn't he? Of course, any young man growing up in northern New England knows how to make a skate save. There's a strike to Parrish, who is really struggling. 4 for his last 35.
Talking about his counterpart, Duke Fisk, as I like to call him. For a big man behind the plate, you would think that he would sit high, have a high target, but he gets a low target for whatever reason. In proportion, it makes the strike zone to a pitcher look that much larger.
Parrish swings through it, barely gets a piece, and Fernandez has done a great job here. He allowed the opening single to Polonia, the walk to Joyner, the RBI single to Gaetti, but he's induced Parker on a lazy fly ball to left, Winfield with the pop to short left that Guillen handled, and now is ahead of Parrish 1-2. Guy's only 21 years of age. He has an ERA of over 7.5 going into this game, yet he's pitching with confidence. He's pitched more often this inning. But with that pitch, he works his way out of the jam. The Angels do get one, but strand a pair. We've played 4-2-1 Chicago.
John Candy, nutrition expert.
I'm trying to cut back.
My son, the anorexic.
Yeah, I'll start my diet tomorrow.
Only the lonely.
Are you going to eat that?
The best John Candy comedy in years. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
Top of the 5th, it's 2-1 White Sox, and Alex Fernandez, after he came off the mound pitching out of the jam, he really working at his leg? Not really.
Not at all. It showed quite a bit of poise out there. Pitched out of a jam to the 3-4-5 hitters. Fine job.
So Alex Fernandez still the leader at 2-1. And, you know, they bring, if he wasn't doing well, could they bring him back? What is this? Is this some guy up from the minors?
Baseball is a game. Baseball is a game for young players and younger players. There you see a young player right there having a good time at the ballpark.
He had the first baseman's glove on. But you should leave that position to those who can handle it. Right. Actually, you handled it well out there yesterday.
Took infield with the White Sox. One of the few things that I haven't done in the major leagues is take major league infield. So I did it.
You look good out there, too, as Lance Johnson leads off the 5th inning against Jim Abbott. Johnson, the disputed single. Angels thought Gallagher made the catch in center field. Umpire ruled no. Johnson had himself an RBI single. Here he has a ground out to second baseman Bobby Rose. One down. Let's go to John Saunders.
Oakland was down 6-0, but don't count them out yet in the 5th inning. This is Ricky Henderson out to left field. Terry Steinbach scores easily. That made it a 6-3 game. Henderson has since stolen second. It's in the 5th. Back to Chris and Jerry.
All right, John, thank you. Chris Berman along with first baseman Jerry Royce here in Anaheim, watching the White Sox lead the Angels 2-1 here in the 5th. Speaking of first baseman, Frank Thomas is up, singled and walked. Average just over 300. What a good-looking prospect. Well, he's no longer a prospect. What a good-looking player he is. But what a load he has to carry. And he carries it pretty well to center field. It gets out there on a shot to Dave Gallagher. And there are 2 down. You know what? Let's ask our quiz a little bit earlier tonight. Lifetime batting average is our question. Ty Cobb has the best lifetime average, 367. Rogers Hornsby in the range, 358. Who has the 3rd best lifetime batting average in the history of Major League Baseball? We'll give you a half inning or so to chew on that. Cobb, Hornsby, and who? It's our hotel quiz. You can room service it up. Carlton Fisk. He's in the record books for a lot of things. That's not one of them. 3rd best average lifetime. Although when you play behind the plate over 2,000 games and have a lifetime average of 272, with over 2,200 hits, over 350 home runs, and over 1,200 RBIs, you need not apologize to anyone. You need say, see you in Cooperstown. Is there any debate on that?
Not for me. Not for me at all. Simply because he's caught over 2,000 games, that's enough. But to do it so well, have the most career home runs for a catcher, the character that he has on the field, the respect that he has from all the players.
Gaetti has his 2-hop ground ball and fires across. So a 1-2-3 inning for Jim Abbott. We're going to the bottom of the 5th. 2-1 Pale Hose. Bottom of the 5th here in Anaheim. The White Sox lead the Angels 2-1. And come up with an answer for our quiz yet? Ty Cobb 367. Rogers Hornsby 358. Who is the third all-time batting leader?
Now, are you going to put a hint in as to the batting average that this player had?
356.
Okay.
So you know it's connected with his Bobby Rose coming up. It's not him. You know it's connected with the Angels and the White Sox. So you might guess Rod Carew. Rodney's down about the 327 range.
Way down there?
I'm going to give you one hint.
Okay.
Give our viewers a hint here.
Well, being the sportsman that you are.
I am a sportsman. And the hint is, if you build it, he will come. That's the hint. Oh, 1 pitch off speed. Misses. Ball 1. Carew's lifetime average was 328. He's down the list. We're going to get about 30 seconds here to work on, folks. Fastball misses outside. It's 2-1. The Angels with only 2 hits, both coming in the last inning. Polonia the single. Later came around to score a run on Gaetti's single. White Sox got their 2 in the top of the 3rd. Off of Jim Abbott. Here's a foul.
You see no ill effects on the injury sustained by Alex Fernandez. He's thrown that ball. That ball has some movement. The last couple of pitches he threw, I would guess the last pitch was a slider. Boy, that ball was scooting up there.
Fernandez got Rose to ground back to him. The first out in the 3rd inning. Little number foul. Bobby Ramblin' Rose. We've coined that. We're going to go with Ramblin'.
You're going to go with Ramblin'.
We're going with Ramblin'. That's who we're going with. Count is 2-2. Outside, the count is full. Rose leading off the bottom of the 5th. 2-1 game. 2 good young pitchers pitching pretty well tonight. Alex Fernandez, Jim Abbott. See how quickly Fernandez works when nobody is on. Here's a fly ball to right. But Sosa makes the play on in foul ground. And with Donnie Hill coming up, the answer to our Hotel California quiz, Cobb, Hornsby, and shoeless Joe Jackson hit 356. First the Indians, then the Chicago White Sox. And help there is Sammy Say It Ain't Sosa. Need I explain that nickname? It's fitting that it's on the White Sox because a year after the 1919 series, even though it was ruled that in a court of law that the White Sox did not intentionally throw the series, it became known as the Black Sox, and Jackson and others were suspended for life by the commissioner, Judge Landis, after the 1920 season. Donnie Hill is up 0 for 1. So shoeless Joe Jackson. Can you imagine in his rookie year, one little note on him before we go. If you build it, he will come, of course, from Field of Dreams when Jackson was the featured player that came back into life. One year, Joe Jackson at 408 and did not win the batting title. Hill slugs one to center field. And Snyder calls off Lance Johnson in left center field. If you ask for him, he will come. We're talking about John Saunders.
But not out of a cornfield. Padres and the Braves earlier tonight tied at 1 in the 9th. Ron Gant with 2 on. The 3-run home run on the high pitch off Steve Rosenberg. 4-1 is the final. Let's get back to Chris and Jerry.
All right, John, thank you.
The surprising Atlanta Braves getting great pitching, scoring some key runs right up there at the top.
Dave Gallagher hitting number 9 tonight, 0 for 1 this evening. I did my Shula's Joe Jackson research. The guy was obviously 356 lifetime in 10 full seasons, as Fernandez is 1-1 on him. He hit 408 in 1911, and Cobb beat him for the batting title with 420. I mean, he hit 400 and don't win the title. And one last story here. I once met a couple years ago Ty Cobb's youngest son, Jim Cobb, lives out here in California. And he said, according to his father, Ty Cobb, the best natural baseball player he ever saw was Shula's Joe Jackson. If Ty Cobb said it, that's good enough for me.
Still, a lot of people feel he belongs in the Hall of Fame. Hasn't made it.
And that's, you know why, which is the question involving Pete Rose. That's the precedent. Count is 2-2 with 2 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Nobody aboard. Alex Fernandez surrendered only the 2 hits and the run the last inning. Outside of that, he's been perfect. 2 hits and a walk last inning. Otherwise, he's retired every one he's faced. As Gallagher fouls it back.
Got just a piece of that slider that Fernandez throws. Still has good movement. Still has good velocity. You see why he was a top draft choice. Great poise out there, even though so far this season hasn't been anything to write home about.
Yeah, but he will be. The way he came up last year, he's still only 21. Inside. Pitched just a handful of games in the minors. Jim Abbott never pitched a game in the minors.
Seeing 2 of the best young pitchers in the American League to their benefit, both their benefits. They have probably 2 of the best catchers in the American League.
Good point. Gallagher check swing into the White Sox dugout.
That can only help our speed.
Good point.
Speed your experience along. Lance Parrish, great knowledge of the American League hitters. Knows the strike zone, knows how to pitch these hitters, knows how to work in pitches. Carlton Fisk, who is really doing it with the whole staff. With the White Sox, only one member of that staff, other than Charlie Huff, has more than 4 years of Major League experience.
3-2 pitch. And Gallagher is aboard. Only the second walk allowed by Alex Fernandez. And while Luis Polonia comes up, a triple header here on Memorial Day. We begin at 1 o'clock Eastern time with the Red Sox at the Yankees. Wade Boggs, who's 4th on that all-time list, by the way, in batting. 7:30 Eastern time. The Expos at the Phillies, and then we'll be at Candlestick. The Giants. Hold on, guys. Try and stay in the race. They're hosting the champion Cincinnati Reds, a game that will be seen in the Cincinnati area. Of course, now that I said that, everyone in Cincinnati just heard me root for the Giants, so they didn't. Maybe that's not a great idea. Gallagher aboard. The Giants just need some wins. I mean, I'm just charitable. I'd root for any team that was the worst record in baseball. The count is 1-0 to Luis Polonia. Singleton scored in the 4th.
You would root for any team as long as they're the Giants.
As long as they're the Giants. And the teams with the black and the orange this year, Orioles and Giants, really struggling. That's not good colors except for Halloween. Ground ball to Guillen, flips to Cora, and Fernandez is gone, has retired the Angels here in the 5th. White Sox do 5, lead it 2-1.
I'm Jim Bergamo. Coming up on SportsCenter, Game 2 of the NBA Conference Finals. The Lakers against Portland. The Bulls look to go up 2-0 against the Pistons. In baseball, the wind of change blows through Chicago. Join us for these stories and more after the game.
2-1 White Sox. So, Jerry, the White Sox with the lead, but yet a low-scoring game. They're really having problems manufacturing runs. Scored only 128 going into tonight, the lowest in the American League. Can they play this way and hope to win it, you know, in late September and October?
Well, they can't continue to hit this way and expect to win it. Eventually, that hitting's going to come around. Tim Raines is going to get used to American League pitching. Of course, Corey Snyder, they got him because they know he can drive in some runs. They'll put things together, and they will be a dominant force in the American League West.
One thing with them not scoring a lot of runs, they end up using Bobby Thigpen in not save situations sometimes. He's coming in because they've gone to the pen earlier, and he's come in and tie games. Not to say that he hasn't amassed some saves this year, but he's not coming in a lot with the 2- and 1-run lead. They don't have those leads as much. But then again, you know, this is a team, the White Sox, at 500. It's not as if they have a record like the Giants, for example. That's a whole different story. Abbott way off speed.
What Jeff Torborg likes to do is talk to his relief pitchers, tell them what role they're going to play that particular evening. Of course, everything is geared, hopefully, to get to Thigpen to save the ball game. And when you don't have the luxury of handling your relief staff, you're not going to get Thigpen in the game in save situations.
Sammy, say it ain't Sosa. Well, lifetime against Abbott. At 2-1 of the count here. Top of the 6th inning. 2-1 White Sox. Flare to center field. Long run for Gallagher. No, it stays up there long enough for him. And there's one down in the Chicago 6th.
Now, last night we saw 4 home runs by the Angels. When we were here a couple of weeks ago, we saw some home runs by the Yankees, some more by the Angels. The way the ball was carrying just the last couple of games that we've seen here in Anaheim Stadium, one has to wonder if the ball is lively. But of course, you look at tonight, and nothing's gone back to the warning track, at least to this point. Now, this is Corey Snyder, who can reach that warning track.
Hasn't done it much this year, though, as he's 0 for 2 tonight. Play back to the mound that Abbott was superb on, and then flew out to center field his second time up. Snyder, no home runs this year. Former #1 draft pick of the Cleveland Indians. Snyder in 86, 87, and 88 hit over 24 or more home runs, 24, 33, and 26. Acquired for Eric Burger King and John Hillegas in the offseason from the Indians. And Snyder just misses plunking one down the line. Again, when you're up near 280, 300, those seem to drop in. When you're below the Mendoza line, they're foul. Why is that?
Baseball fate. That's the only thing I can say. These things are going to happen. It's foul by a foot or so. Well, I know this. As a pitcher, you're out there, you see that ball go up, you know your defense is shifted the other way. You say a silent prayer or something, just let it go foul, just let it go foul. Because you get the leadoff man on a double like that, you've got a whole set of problems that you have to face again.
Count is 1-2 to Corey Snyder. And he is rung up by Jim Abbott. So Abbott, with just his 3rd strikeout tonight. 2 down, none on. Let's go to John Saunders.
Gene Nelson back in the bullpen for the Oakland A's, facing Devon White. Takes it straight out to center field. Dave Henderson has a beat on it, but it's off the side of his glove. 2 runs come in to score. That made it 8-3. Jays have a 6-run lead once again. It's 9-3. Chris and Jerry.
All right, John. There's his strike. So Craig Graybeck, 1 for 2 of the double tonight.
During spring training, Jim Abbott was working on a curveball and a changeup. Some of the problems that he had entering the season was the result that he couldn't resolve when he wanted to use that curveball, was using it early in the season and getting hammered on it. Now he started a 3-game streak, and coincidentally, he's able to get that curveball over in situations where he can get somebody out rather than leave it up over the plate for the hitters to just smash it.
Well, he got here They're really throwing fastball. More of a, I don't want to say a power pitcher, but that was his best. Graybeck skies it to left. Luis Polonia settles under it. Makes the catch. And another 1-2-3 inning for Jim Abbott. Going to the bottom of the 6th. 2-1 White Sox. Wally Joyner, owner of a 16-game hitting streak, is 0 for 1 with a walk tonight. We asked him if it was pressure to continue it.
I can't say that I don't think about it, because I think that everybody thinks about it. And the best way to go about it is to get a hit the first at bat and then just have fun the rest of the game. But if I don't get a hit my first at bat, then I think the pressure will mount as I come up every time during the game.
You figure that with only 16, not only 60 games to belittle it, but you wouldn't start thinking about the streak, but I guess it's inevitable.
You can't help but thinking about things like that because people remind you during, as we did before the game began.
So here we go, bottom of the 6th inning, and a one-hopper that is snared by Joey Cora. Joyner will have at least one more at bat, but the hitting streak is in jeopardy as there's one down. So he'll be thinking about it for a couple of innings now.
At least until his next at bat, if that's a couple of innings. This is a breaking pitch. Joyner stays with it, keeps his head in there, waits, keeps his hands back. Drives the ball hard to second base, but it's the first out here for the Angels in the 6th.
Gary Gaetti, who drove in the lone Angel run with a single, goes for some high cheese and misses it. Strike one. To Gaetti. Slugs one, but a mile high to right field. Sammy Sosa is there, and there's two down. Top Rank Boxing coming up here on ESPN Thursday night at 9 Eastern Time. Our feature bout. Junior featherweight Olympic gold medalist Kennedy McKinney against Jerome Coffey, who takes it with cream, no sugar. That'll be our lead bout to Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So two down. None on for Dave Parker. Line to Thomas at first. Flew to left field. Fouls it back. Well, what a wasted opportunity the way the game has gone, Jerry, in the 4th inning. When Polonia singled, went to second when Joyner walked, then a run scored with Gaetti. But then with runners at first and second, Gaetti with a single, Parker, Winfield, and Parrish stranded a pair of runners. And really, that's all Alex Fernandez has allowed the Angels to think about. He only gave up a walk with 2 out in the 5th to Gallagher. Other than that, he's been perfect tonight.
Pitching quite well this inning. Economically, 2 outs already, 2 strikes on the hitter.
Parker 2 for his last 23. Down 0-2 in the count. Just missed it, Fernandez. Trying to get Parker to bite it one low and away.
Often you hear pitchers talk about pitch sequences. He saw a lot of fastballs inside with runners on base. This at bat, nobody on base, has seen 3 consecutive fastballs, 2 of them close enough off the plate to miss, and 1 Parker took for a strike. He's seeing pitches the 3rd time up that he hasn't seen from Fernandez all night long.
And now Fernandez and Fisk will talk about it.
Well, maybe Fisk is calling for a pitch that Fernandez just doesn't know he has. Throw that pitch we talked about. You know, the one. Oh, that one. So we're out there talking about it. That's where years of experience comes in, because he's probably reminded him, you missed twice low and away. Now, you can't go back out there the same speed with the same velocity of fastball. He's already seen it twice. This is the major leagues. Let's see what pitch he throws right here.
Parker fouls it back. You just look at the Parker, and maybe we can get a shot of it here. Parker and Winfield, when Fernandez is about to get in the motion, they both, Winfield, one of those batters in the on-deck circle that looks at the pitcher as if he's up in the plate. Look at the two imposing figures just together within about 15 feet of each other. 6'6", what, 230, 240, whatever it is.
Or
we'll look it up. Or
yeah.
so. That's what I say, or so, when I'm asked. Oh, Parker waved at it. Fernandez, brilliant again. The Boo Birds for Big Dave. We've played 6. It's 2-1 White Sox in a good ball game. Stick around.
Von Hayes, right field, Philadelphia. Cal Ripken, shortstop, Baltimore. Tim Jackson, attorney, Los Angeles. Roberto Leon, teacher, Oakland.
Ever since Major League Baseball introduced the authentic diamond collection of clothing and equipment identical to the pros, it's gotten a lot harder to tell the players from the fans. The authentic diamond collection, a part of baseball you can call your own.
The preceding was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Two young pitchers you may be hearing a lot about in the coming years. Jim Abbott on the left, Alex Fernandez on the right. Certainly if they pitch the way they have tonight. Fernandez and the White Sox lead Abbott and the Angels 2-1 here in the top of the 7th at the Big A. 8-9-1 hitters Joey Cora, Ozzie Guillen, Tim Raines coming up. Chris Berman along with Jerry Royce. We're glad you could join us. Joey Cora steps to the plate. And we haven't talked about the signing of Fernando Valenzuela, Jerry, by the California Angels. He will work tomorrow in Palm Springs, a game that's already sold out. But with Hershiser and Fernando pitching in the California League, what has that done for attendance the last few weeks?
Like a skyrocket, hasn't it?
Goodness.
It's a dream come true for fans in the outlying areas of the big cities here in California, isn't it?
Certainly is. And you know, we were musing, as third base coach Terry Bevington giving the signs to Cora. You know, the Angels have an off day here Thursday. Why not bring the Palm Springs team? Let them play in front of 20,000 people. I bet you they'd get him here to watch Fernando pitch as an Angel. Cora with a shot to right. It's going to be a tough one for Dave Winfield, but he gets there. 1 out. Never tough for John Saunders. Let's scoot east.
But it's been tough on the San Francisco Giants this year. Their one shining guy has been Bud Black, and he gives up his 2-run shot to Eric Davis. They had a 3-0 lead. They coasted to the 3-2 win. Rob Dibble, his 11th save. Back to Chris and Jerry.
John, you have to rub that in. Even Bud painted black couldn't get it done tonight for the Giants. Now, we've seen Ozzie Guillen play cat and mouse with Gary Gaetti. Both times before, Gaetti's been on the infield grass. There he is, but he'll come in more. First time up, Ozzie rifled one over his head for a single. Last time up, he chopped one over his head for a single. So this time, Abbott floats one over Ozzie's head for a ball.
Ozzie with a big smile, a little premature in diving out of the way of that curveball.
Of a 45-mile-an-hour curveball.
Ever the showman, isn't he? Remember one time a hitter threw a bat at a pitch and it went out the shortstop. Ozzie picked the bat up and threw it over to first base.
There's a 2-hopper to Bobby Ramblin' Rose. We've gotten the okay back from Bristol. They like that one, so we're going with it. They're 2 down. And Timmy Raines coming up. So that time Ozzie goes to the right side. And Gaetti can finally relax.
Well, he was fooled by that pitch. Off-speed pitch, waited, saw that it was in the strike zone, wanted to take a shot at it, and just tapped it weakly. Nice pitching job by Jim Abbott.
So here's Tim Raines. What do you think? Walt Riniak school of hitting. And Timmy, maybe, is that part of it? Is he trying to adapt all those philosophies by Riniak? Is that what he's struggling with, Jerry?
Well, let's take a look at the swing. Yes, he is. Walt teaches a technique that pulls the top hand off the bat after the hitter brings it through the strike zone, hoping to keep the hitter hitting the ball on the ground. Raines did it his way for 11 years over in the National League, maybe trying to incorporates some of the techniques presented by Walt Riniak, but not successfully to this point in the season. You add that to the fact that he's playing for a new team for the first time and that it's a new league, it's understandable why he's in a bit of a slump.
Keeping the head down more, too? Is that another Riniak trait?
Well, I'm a little out of my league talking about some of the finer points of hitting. Well, take a look at this swing right here. He hit a little bit off his front foot. He kept his head down there, pulled his top hand off the bat, as Walt teaches. Still not getting the results that Walt teaches if you use these techniques that you'll have. I'll say this about Walt Riniak. There's no hitting coach anywhere that works harder than Walt. In spring training, at least the years I was there, 7 o'clock in the morning, hitters made appointments to come in and have special tutoring by Walt in the cages in spring training. 7 a.m. in spring training.
That's a tough call at spring training. A slow hopper to Donnie Hill, and with Raines running, he just never got the handle, never gave it a shot. Raines can still fly. And when you're struggling, you'll be happy to take a hit. The legged out infield single for Tim Raines.
Donnie Hill, a second baseman by trade, playing shortstop only because Dick Schofield is hurt with a groin pull. Comes in on the ball, can't quite pull it out of his glove. Of course, Raines with that great speed beats it out, infield single.
Well, now leading 2-1 with 2 out. Raines with 8 stolen bases this year. Over 600 lifetime. As a matter of fact, only Rickey Henderson made it to 600 faster than Tim Raines. And actually, in times running versus times thrown out, Tim Raines is the all-time leader with those of 300 or more attempts. So that tells you what he can do. So maybe here's the way they want to manufacture the all-important insurance run. Have him go, look for Lance Johnson just to follow with a single.
It's pretty good thinking, especially Lance Johnson can go deep into the count. There you see Carlton Fisk, Jeff Torborg, obviously discussing maybe something about the pitching, maybe something about which pitch should they send Raines right here. Lance Johnson last year hit .340 against left-handers, so he can hit left-handed pitching.
Slices one down the left field line. Long run for Polonia, but he makes the play. So Raines, we never get a chance to see him steal a base. Coming to the bottom of the 7th, 2-1 White Sox. Bottom of the 7th inning stretch time here in Anaheim. And Dave Winfield steps up to the plate with the Angels trailing 2-1 against the young 21-year-old right-hander Alex Fernandez. Fernandez has allowed only 2 hits and a walk tonight. And his 2 hits and 2 walks, so 4 over the minimum for Fernandez here as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Winfield grounded to third, popped to short. Fernandez paints the outside corner for strike 1. I mean, you could tell me that this guy has an ERA of over 7.5, and I'm not going to believe it after watching him work tonight.
He's getting all 4 pitches over the plate. His fastball, curve, slider, changeup. And he's protecting a 1-run lead while doing it.
And he almost has his head taken off by Big Dave. But when he gets the bat behind it, hits him with fur on it. There's a leadoff single that the Angel fans hope will get them going towards the rally that maybe at least will tie the game.
You can define courage any way you want. This is how a starting pitcher defines courage. Either be quick enough to catch the ball or quick enough to get out of the way. Alex Fernandez chose the latter. There's a look at Don Paul down in the bullpen of the White Sox.
Don, whiter shade of Paul. And I think that will go along with their rock and roll pitching staff. Something we could talk about. Right now, we could talk about the fact that Lance Parrish is up with a runner at first base and none out. Parrish grounded a short, struck out tonight. Really been struggling. Slider or curve, whatever it was.
Took a little bit off, had a little bit of a wrinkle to it. Might have been change of speed on the slider. Remember, this is the third time that he's seen these hitters. They've probably seen most of his pitches. In a situation like this, where a home run could beat you, as we look at Doug Rader, you want to show a hitter, especially a power hitter, a pitch that you think you can get him out on, that you've set aside just for this purpose.
Rader still in the back of his mind thinking about the disputed play in the top of the third inning. Lance Johnson, little flare. The Angels thought Gallagher made the catch. They ruled no catch. It ended up being an RBI single. And then Johnson himself came around to score on the double by Carlton Fisk. Those are the 2 runs scored in the top of the third by the Angels, and Alex Fernandez has made them stand up. 1-1 pitch. Curveball outside, 2-1.
He certainly doesn't want to give Parrish anything that he can hit for power, anything up, out over the plate. There's Jeff Torborg on his right, Terry Bevington on his left. The other Sammy. I got so caught up in say it ain't Sosa.
Well,
Sammy Ellis.
Sammy Ellis, pitching coach. Parrish fouls it back. It's 2-2.
A couple of years ago. Now, baseball has superstitions. Steve Rosenberg got one of those dolls with the bobble heads because Sammy Ellis does have a twitch now and then. Brought this into the clubhouse. Sammy will twitch, so we got this head, painted it the color of Sammy's hair, put his number 46 on the back, and we kept this. We had to, and we put this on the bench with us, and we referred to Sammy whenever we wanted to talk to the doll. Team started winning. Now we have to bring this thing on a road trip. Carry the Sammy doll.
This Sammy doll is looking at Alex Fernandez, who's been brilliant. Winfield single here to lead off the 7th. Is only the 3rd hit he's allowed. None down. Parrish up. Count is 2-2. 2-1 Palehouse. And Parrish will sit down swinging for the 2nd time tonight. With 1 down and Bobby Rose coming up, let's go to John Saunders.
Budweiser takes you now to Boston. Earlier tonight, Jim Hunter had given up the 3-run homer to Brunansky. 2 batters later, he hits Tony Pena. Pena points with the bat. B.J. Surhoff out in a hurry as the peacemaker. The bench is clear. Nothing happens. Boston came back from 5 down and wins it. Back to you.
John, that's certainly something the White Sox know about. Their big brawl and their win against the Blue Jays on Sunday as Bobby Rose fouls it back. Zach McDowell took a pretty good shot from Mark Whitten. McDowell, who wears the rock star shades anyway, but was hiding a bit of a shiner. His next start will be Friday night against Oakland, a team that he's gone after and a team that's come after him. The White Sox were hoping that sort of a scuffle would really get them going, but last night Mark Langston had their number. Angels went deep 4 times, won at 6-3. Bobby Rose get back to the box first time. Flew to right. Second time up. Second baseman tonight. Playing because of a strained right hamstring suffered by Luis Sojo in the rain. It's an opening line from Warren Zevon's Werewolves of London, in case you were wondering. So we've got lighter shade of Paul. We've got Luis Sojo in the rain. And we have a 2-1 White Sox lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Winfield, the runner at first, 1 out. Outside. Count is 1-1. Alex Fernandez, one of the few members of this White Sox pitching staff that doesn't play in a rock and roll band. Jack McDowell. Wayne Edwards, the bullpen. And the man you see on the right-hand side is Scott Radinsky.
Both of those pitchers have been used primarily as setup men for Bobby Thigpen.
Radinsky and Edwards are both drummers. Edwards, Jack McDowell, and Lee Plemmel, minor league pitcher with the Angels. They've all come out with a group view extend agenda, their first album. And I'll tell you, it is excellent. Pitch to Rose. Did he hold off? No. Count is 1-2. Extend agenda. McDowell and Edwards and Lee play. It's excellent. Sounds a little bit 12-string guitar. There's a little Roger McGuinn birds in there. put it on yesterday. These guys are going places. Edwards plays drums. McDowell sings. Plays the guitar. Alex Fernandez has been playing a good tune tonight. Has allowed only 3 hits. Nice play he makes. Spurts to Cora for 1. Not in time. Back to Thomas. Rose beats it out. But Fernandez not only has pitched his position well, he's fielded it expertly tonight.
Yes, he did. Fine follow-through right there by Alex Fernandez. His footwork is what helped him make this play. You'll see it. It's a tap. It's a slider in the outside corner. Nice crossover step by Fernandez. Cora covering at second. Over to first base. Only the fleet feet of Bobby Rose beats that play out.
He was rambling Rose on that play.
The fleet feet of rambling Bobby Rose.
So 2 down, Rose, the runner at first. And Donnie Hill, who hit a 3-run homer last night, but has flown out to left twice tonight. Switch hitting, Donnie Hill looks at ball 1 inside.
.104 pitches by Alex Fernandez, 63 strikes, 41 balls. He's getting to that point. I know Jeff keeps kind of a pitch count, informal pitch count, has an idea of what range he likes to have his starters. Each of his starters, of course, have their own pitch range. What's needed in order to get to the bullpen, as we see the ball popped up.
Center fielder Lance Johnson will make the play, and Alex Fernandez gives up the leadoff single and then gets through it. 2-1 Pale Hose. Top of the 8th inning here in Anaheim, and the story has been Alex Fernandez has given up just 3 hits, 3 singles to the heavy-hitting California Angels, and that's why the White Sox, who scored a pair in the top of the 3rd inning, lead it 2-1. Wally Joyner's 16-game hitting streak, among those in jeopardy because of the mound mastery of young Alex Fernandez. And here is Frank Thomas. And you know what? Frank Thomas, big first baseman. With Bo Jackson, who is with the club here on this trip, at least here in the Anaheim area, he's not going to Oakland. Bo was getting treatment during the games in the locker room. Frank Thomas was a tight end as a freshman, Bo's senior year at Auburn. Thomas caught 3 passes, then decided to concentrate only on baseball. So with Thomas and Jackson as member of the White Sox, we're going to proclaim them the winners of the Southeastern Conference this year in football, as Thomas swings and misses and the count is 1-1. The White Sox could be the Sugar Bowl next year. You never know. Jim Abbott, let's not forget the job he has done tonight. Were it not for a disputed play in center field, he might be leading 1-0. Abbott, who lost his first 4 decisions, has won his last 3. And I know now in his 3rd year here, as he goes ahead and 1 or 2, Jerry. His 3rd year, I mean, it's an old story. But the courage, the poise, the moxie that this young man has displayed with a birth defect. No, that wasn't born with the right hand. As Thomas sends one to center field, Gallagher has time and makes the play. But the moxie that Abbott shows, I don't mean to belabor an old story, but when he makes plays like he did on the one back to the mound, dodging a bat, putting the glove, making the play, he's a pleasure as a human being to watch. Just him working on the mound as he's close to 100 pitches.
Quite a job. There's no really other way to say it. Now, growing up, he didn't know any other way. This is the way that he went out and played ball. To him, it really wasn't a big deal. And to his credit, he doesn't understand why other people make such a big deal out of it.
Carlton Fisk is up. Abbott, we mentioned before, as he gets strike 1, one of the handful of players, Dave Winfield, another one, that never played a day in the minor leagues. When he came up 2 years ago, he was the first pitcher to go straight from high school or college right to the bigs and never spent a day in the minor leagues. First in 11 years. Off-speed pitch grounded to short. Donnie Hill is up, and there are 2 down. And Sammy Sosa on his way to the plate. Chris Berman along with Jerry Royce here in Anaheim with the White Sox behind young Alex Fernandez. Leading young Jim Abbott of the California Angels 2-1 in a pitcher's duel. White Sox 5 singles, 2 doubles. Only 3 singles allowed by Fernandez to the Angels. I said the first pitcher since '78 when Abbott came up 2 years ago not to spend a day in the minors. Mike Morgan and Tim Conroy came up in the '78 season. Conroy never enjoyed a lot of success. Morgan, of course, still with the Dodgers.
I suppose a footnote should be put in here regarding Jim Abbott. As we see a final score there, Portland over the Lakers, 109-98, even that series.
We'd like to welcome all those viewers. Go ahead, Jerry.
Yes, but he did play in the Olympics in 1984. Didn't have minor league experience, but did have quite a bit of experience traveling.
Gaetti knocks it down, but with Sosa's speed, he won't be able to recover in time. Gaetti has been a busy guy over there at third. He's seen balls go left, right, over his head. I mean, there's no way that's an error, and he correctly has scored a base hit. That was smoked.
Sosa gets out on his fastball. We see Gaetti go up for it. Can't quite come down with it off his glove. A quick recovery, but it won't be quick enough to catch the speedy Sammy Say It Ain't Sosa.
There you go. So Sosa on board with 2 down, and Corey Snyder is up. Both Jim Abbott and Alex Fernandez, Golden Spikes Award winner, emblematic of the best college baseball player. Both #1 draft picks by their respective teams. Jimmy Abbott, University of Michigan. He's a communications major. I'm not ready to give up this chair yet, but he wouldn't mind sitting up here one day, but he's got a fine career ahead of him. As the count is 1-0 to Corey Snyder. Abbott, the first baseball player ever to win the Sullivan Award, the best amateur athlete in the United States. He does it all unassuming. He's just a pleasure. A man from Flint, Michigan.
Hopefully he won't be up in the booth too soon. He'll have a long career.
I told him we enjoy when he pitches well.
We like to talk about him and like to talk about him a lot. Stay out there 15, 18 more years.
That's right. Runner goes. Sosa head first slide. He doesn't like the call, but Parrish guns him out. So the White Sox, looking for an insurance run, have Sosa gunned out at second base. We're heading to the bottom of the 8th inning here in Anaheim. Well, let's take another look. No, we won't. Heading to the bottom of the 8th here in Anaheim. And the White Sox lead it 2-1 as Parrish guns down. And Sammy says to the ump, "Say it ain't Sosa." Bottom of the 8th here in Anaheim, and Alex Fernandez has been relieved by the left-hander Scott Radinsky. Radinsky facing Dave Gallagher starts him off with a strike 1. Radinsky, 23-year-old left-hander from Simi Valley, California. A drummer, a very good drummer. And here is what he's done on the mound. He's drummed out a lot of hitters thus far this year.
The left-handed setup man for Bobby Thigpen. Interesting story about Scott Radinsky. In spring training in '89, Jeff Torborg was looking for the best arms, the 10 best arms to take north. He came in, saw what the organization looked like in spring training. He left in '89 in spring training with Scott Radinsky, Wayne Edwards, plus Donnie Paul for his bullpen, Barry Jones, and of course the closer Bobby Thigpen.
Radinsky could certainly bring it. And the count is 2-2 to Dave Gallagher. 0 for 1 with a walk. Made what he thought was a catch in center field in the 3rd inning. They rolled a trap. It ended in a run scored, and later the White Sox added another. Fastball, and that's hit foul down the right field line. Next Tuesday, if you're wondering where we'll check in, we'll be at Dodger Stadium. First time you and I will have a chance together to see the Dodgers. It's unusual it's taking this long. But the Dodgers against the Houston Astros. That's next Tuesday at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 out here.
Hotel, California time.
Hotel time. Count is 2-2 to Dave Gallagher. Toward the hole. Ozzie dives. It's past him. And the Angels have the tying run aboard. So Gallagher aboard, and Polonia and Joyner, the best two sticks in the Angels lineup coming up. And let's quickly go to our hot stick, John Saunders.
Budweiser takes us now to Oakland. The Jays and the A's. Jose Canseco to Ed Sprite comes home. Myers has Ricky Henderson, but watch the spikes into the wrist of Myers, knocking the ball free. Jays already with catcher problems with Borders injured the other day. 9-7. Back to you.
A wild one up there. 16 runs. We have just 3 runs here. And with Polonia up, Graybeck way in on the infield grass at third base. Dan Pasqua, the new first baseman, has gone in for Frank Thomas, holding the runner aboard. He charges 2. And Polonia takes it for ball 1. So it's 2-1. Bobby Knopp giving the signs. Long-time second baseman here with the Angels.
There you see the infield. The infield set up, looking for the bunt. Right there. Now that throw over to first base has a couple of purposes. One is to keep the runner close. 2, to see if the batter commits. Often that's a sign that comes from the catcher, who is relaying that same sign from the bench.
Polonia lays off, takes another ball, 2-0. So now with a good hitter like Polonia, I mean, with none out, you want to get the run over, certainly with Joyner coming up. But at 2-0, do you maybe green light him with the guys charging, or you can't at this point?
Well, he's a tough man to double up. So if he hits the ball on the ground, chances are it's going to be tough to get a double play.
No, he bunts it, does a poor job, bunts it foul. It's 2-1.
Well, he waited too long to turn around to commit. If you're going to sacrifice, go ahead and commit. Do what you have to do. There's Doug Rader right there.
By the way, his doll that he keeps, his voodoo doll, his good luck doll, Joe Vu,
yes,
it's hanging again. Remember, he went 0 for 4 the night we were here, and he had Joe Vu. He hung it, got 3 hits the next day. Told me before the game, it's hanging in his locker because he feels hits coming. He has one of the 4 Angel hits tonight and has scored the only Angel run, has Polonia. Lays off, but it's a strike. 2-2. So Radinsky came in. Polonia now will have to think about doing something else.
No question whether this is a strike. It's low enough, gets the corner. If Polonia's job is to sacrifice, he's got to go after that pitch. It's down. He can drop it down the third base line. That's what a sacrifice is for. Get the runner in scoring position with Joyner.
Very tentative bunter, that's for sure. Now the count is 2-2. Swinging and fouls it back. Gallagher will return to first base. Scott Radinsky on in relief of Alex Fernandez, who went the first 7, giving up only 3 hits. Doug Rader has seen his team score a lot of runs and winning 9 of their last 13. And tonight they've gotten only 1. Jim Abbott would like to see a run.
I'd like to see more than a run. That's a face that says, let's have a rally.
Polonia's slow chopper. It's going to be a tough play. Polonia beats it out. So that's better than a bunt. The slow chopper with Gallagher going. Graybeck had no shot at second base. And with the wheels of Polonia, he just legs it out. Kind of no man's land for the White Sox defense on that one.
There's nothing you can do. You play a couple of steps back, not anticipating the bunt. The ball gets past Radinsky. Graybeck makes a great play, throwing on the run, but it's not quick enough to get Polonia. That is the advantage of speed. You can make so many things happen. Now you've got 2 of your best base runners, at least with Gallagher, probably as good a base runner as you can find on this team. Polonia, if he's not the best base runner, certainly is the fastest. And you're in a situation where the hottest hitter in the American League is coming to the plate. Certainly, we're not going to see him bunt.
No, we are not. Wally Joyner 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. 16-game hitting streak in jeopardy. But so right now is the White Sox lead and a potential win for Alex Fernandez. who now sits down and sees Radinsky give up 2 leadoff singles. Gallagher singled past the diving Guillen, and Polonia now on with the infield hit. Bobby Thigpen on the left. Wayne Edwards, the lefty, on the right of your screen, warming up in the Chicago pen. So Thigpen may be summoned from the bullpen in a hurry. And the American League batting leader, Wally Joyner, up. Swings through the first pitch as Radinsky pulled the string on that, strike 1.
Nice call by Fisk. Joyner looking fastball. Radinsky, a fastball pitcher, starts him off with a breaking ball. Gets it over the plate, immediately has Joyner to a disadvantage.
Graybeck with a couple words to the left-handed pitcher Radinsky. Runners in scoring position. Wally has really done a job. And if he does the job right here, we'll have a tie game. Swings through again. Look, those swings were as bad as he's taken in the last 2 weeks.
Probably so. What happens here, you start off with the curveball. He's way out in front of the curveball. Hasn't seen a fastball. Now this fastball, though it's 90 in real time, certainly looks like 100 miles an hour after seeing that curveball. Look how late he is on that swing.
Radinsky has Joyner in a hole. 0-2. 2 on, none out. Lays off the high heat. It's 1-2.
Certainly a lot of options right here for the pitcher. Radinsky, he can go breaking ball low and away out of the strike zone. He can repeat fastball up and in. But certainly at this count, 1-2, he doesn't want to bring a pitch over the plate that Joyner can handle.
Joyner sends one to left center field, but plenty of room for Corey Snyder, and no shot for the speedy Gallagher or Polonia to tag. So Joyner's hitting streak in serious jeopardy as he's gone down here in the 8th.
Now, as expected, there you see Wally Joyner in the dugout. No question he's disappointed as Jeff Torborg comes to the mound to make a pitching change. Radinsky brought in to face just the 3 hitters, Gallagher a right-hander, Polonia and Joyner, who are left-handers. So it's going to be Bobby Thigpen coming in to pitch for the White Sox, and we'll be back.
Was it an accident?
Don't you have any leads at all?
It's in the walls.
I'll get an answer as soon as I do.
Arson?
Check that door for heat.
Or murder?
You burned him, Stan!
It will come between brothers.
You guys should just try picking up the phone once in a while.
Separate lovers.
I really miss you.
And lead them to the heart of a mystery. From director Ron Howard, Backdraft. Rated R. Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
In the bottom of the 8th as they play Ruby Tuesday, the man on the mound for the White Sox, Ruby and all sorts of gems. The man who last year, Bobby Thigpen, set a major league record with 57 saves, already has amassed 8 this year, and it's his game to nail down for Alex Fernandez. From here on in, with only 1 out in the 8th, 2 on, and Gary Gaetti out.
Situation tailor-made for Bobby Thigpen, reliever extraordinaire, has been so for the White Sox for a number of years. Now with Gaetti, followed by Parker, Winfield, he's going to go through the heart of the Angels lineup. There you see Jeff Torborg going through the scouting reports for the hitters coming up right here and how Thigpen did against them.
Well, with Bobby Thigpen involved, that's why the White Sox lead the major leagues in 1-run games, 9-3, which is part of the reason they trail the American League in runs. But if you win those 1-run games, you'll always be a contender. And with Thigpen, who figured in 65% of the White Sox wins last year, either winning or saving himself, he is the man on the mound. Gary Gaetti up with 1 out. Fouls the first pitch back. Gaetti 1 for 3 tonight. Drove in the lone Angel run with a single back in the 4th inning. It's just mono a mono. I'm sorry, Jerry. Gaetti, Parker, Winfield, Parrish up against Thigpen. This is why you've stayed with us for 3 hours. This is the confrontation. Mano a mano. Or if you've come over from the basketball game, you're not going anywhere because we're not allowing you to. Gaetti hits one to right center field. Sosa is there with an excellent arm, and Gallagher knew that as Guillen cuts it off. One thing about the White Sox on the corners, Sosa and Snyder in the outfield with outstanding guns. So 2 down, and what a spot for Dave Parker to shake loose his season-long doldrums and maybe tie the game against the best reliever, well, certainly the all-time save leader for a single season, Bobby Thigpen.
Going back to that fly ball Gaetti hit, it's interesting to note that Johnson, it's a situation where a runner might try to advance, lets Sosa take it, knowing that Sosa has the stronger arm, keeping that runner from going to second to third.
Parker 0 for 3 tonight. Looked bad in striking out his last time up against Alex Fernandez. Looks at ball 1. Dave Gallagher, Luis Polonia. As you pointed out, Jerry, probably the best 2 Angel base runners. Gallagher at second, Polonia at first. Parker, no matter what way you look at it, no one on, scoring position, runner's eye. His average is below 200. But Thigpen with high heat, and he's behind Parker, 2-0.
Bobby, of course, now 4 years of experience, a little bit more knowledge about how to handle situations, pressure. Takes a little time, walks behind the mound, collects his thoughts, knows he's behind the hitter. Parker 2-0. Has to throw a strike right here.
But doesn't, and it's 3-0. 3 fastballs to Parker, all of them missed.
Well, 3 fastballs up in the strike zone. Parker, of course, is a good low fastball hitter. You see Jeff Torborg right there. My guess is Parker, even hitting 3-0, 162, you bring him over because you want him hitting in a situation like this.
So you have him swinging here?
If he likes it, go for it.
Yeah, he did go for it. It's to center field. Back goes Lance Johnson. Gone! My base is gone. The ball is gone. Dave Parker has brought the crowd to its feet with a 3-run shot. And the struggling Parker has given the Angels a 4-2 lead. What a way for Parkway to help his team hit the highway against Bobby Thigpen. And you said it, give him the 3-0, let him swing, and that's what happens.
You see that happy bench with the Angels looking to the White Sox bench. Of course, the dismay over a situation like that. The Angels have been waiting for an opportunity just like this for Dave Parker to come through. That's why they brought him over here. He came to the plate. The fans were booing him, showing their displeasure with his performance so far. Right now, they're on their feet, applauding, wanting Dave Parker to come out of the dugout to celebrate this moment.
Parker with his 2nd homer of the year, number 330 lifetime, and finally a grin from Dave Parker. So gone is the lead, gone is the win, the potential win for Alex Fernandez, and maybe gone is the season-long slump for Dave Parker. Inside to Winfield. And what you have is a very annoyed Bobby Thigpen on the mound.
I don't think Thigpen tried to bring that pitch inside to miss. He's trying to throw strikes right here, put a little something extra on it. Look at that sigh of relief by Jim Abbott. Instead of being behind by 1 run, he now has a 2-run lead.
There goes the bat. And Dave, if you're going to throw it, send it to the other dugout, will you, big guy? Fortunately, not too many folks down there, and not too many folks out here where Parker slugged the 3-0 pitch.
Fastball down, out over the plate. Parker goes with it. Lance Johnson tries to bring it back. Can't get it. There's Dave Gallagher watching the ball go over the fence, knowing he's scoring the tying run. Dave Parker, as he was rounding the bases, was as happy as a man could be when he saw that ball go over the fence as he touched first base.
So Dave Parker has given the Angels a 4-2 lead. It was getting strange that no Angel has hit a homer. Every time we're in the park, they come in bunches.
Mama said there'd be Daves like that. Dave Gallagher to score the tying run, Dave Parker to drive it in.
And Dave Winfield at the plate. Into the dugout goes the ball this time. You know what? You complain that only Paul Olden lets you read it. Go ahead.
I didn't complain. This is for Paul, dedicated from you. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball.
Hey, you've thrown to a commercial. You've read the copyright. Is there anything more you need to accomplish in your career up here?
A lot of first. Also took infield practice for the first time in a Major League career. A lot of things.
It's been a memorable couple of days for you here in Anaheim. Not so memorable for Jeff Torborg as Winfield slugs it that Graybeck makes a nice play on and throws him out. But the damage has been done. Dave Parker has gone deep, and the Angels carry a 4-2 lead into the night.
Upper Deck. Nobody does baseball like Upper Deck. Find one of 2,500 personally signed Nolan Ryan cards hidden in random packs.
There it is. Parker, the hero with the 3-run shot, and Jim Abbott, who stood to lose the game, now stands to win the game. He is gone, but is the pitcher of record on the W side.
If Brian Harvey, who has just entered the game, holds it for Jim Abbott, 4 consecutive wins after starting the season with 4 losses.
And Brian Harvey has been nothing short of sensational, whereas Thigpen now might stand to blow his 3rd save opportunity this year. Brian Harvey has 10 saves, which puts him 3rd, tied with Eckersley for 3rd in the American League race. But Harvey, last time we saw him here 2 weeks ago, 3 Ks in the 9th inning when he came in. And there you go. The Angels bullpen, Harvey and others, have been the best in the major leagues. This is an unknown factor about these California Angels. You think of the Daves, you think of Finley and Langston at 12-2 combined, but their bullpen has done the job. And tonight, Jeff Torborg and Sammy Ellis's bullpen did not. Radinsky came in, gave up 2 singles, then eventually gave way to Thigpen, gave up the homer. Robin Ventura pinch hitting here in the top of the 9th. Ventura hitting for Corey Snyder, who was up when Sosa was thrown out. The top of the 8th.
Last night it was Jeff Robinson to come in a tight situation in the 8th inning to get out of a jam. Of course, the score was only 4-3. Had to protect the lead with a runner on 3rd. Of course,
second and 3rd.
Right, 2nd and 3rd, had to protect the lead. Brian Harvey came in to save it last night. We've been talking about Joyner. We've been talking about the problems that Dave Parker's had. Dave Winfield's had. We've been talking about Luis Polonia. The bullpen, though. The bullpen in this run has been unsurpassed, as good as any.
Count is 2-1 to Robin Ventura Highway. Normally starts at 3rd. Graybeck got the nod tonight. skies it. Donnie Hill at short. And there's one down. Sports Center coming up tonight. Following the game, we'll have Tom Meese's report for Minneapolis. Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals. The Lakers and Bulls trying to go 2-up in their respective series. And Zip Zimmer can, as manager of the Chicago Cubs, second in the NL East to lose his job already, and we're still in May. Jim Abbott could find his mark at 4-4 after an 0-4 start.
Matt Marullo, pinch hitter for the White Sox, catches sometimes. Well, he came up as a catcher, plays some first base, been a designated hitter.
Has been swinging a hot bat, pinch hitting variety lately. Had a big hit in Boston in front of many of his home folks from Ridgefield, Connecticut. This one he skies to left field. Bologna snares it, and there's quickly 2 down. So Joey Cora is the last hope for the White Sox, as Doug Rader's team never cashed in on opportunities, but finally Raiders Angels on a 3-run homer by Dave Parker in the bottom of the 8th take the 4-2 lead against Bobby Thigpen. Radinsky would stand to lose it. Thigpen would blow the save, wasting a marvelous performance by Alex Fernandez. Strike 1 to Joey Cora. Harvey does not fool around. He goes right after you. And what we've been impressed with, Jerry, is a lot of relievers nibble, and they always have guys on. I think of some great relievers in the past, like Full Pack, Stanhouse, and others. Harvey throws strikes. Not that time. That's up top for a ball.
There's a look of happiness right there. Dave Parker has been wanting to contribute for this team since he's come over here. Finally has the chance. There's another man who's happy right there, Jim Abbott, looking for this final out here in the ball game.
And the White Sox are down to their final strike. 1-2 the count on Joey Cora. White Sox. If the A's lose it tonight, they'll be within a game of the Angels will be within a game of first place. If the A's end up winning tonight, the Angels will still pick up a half game and be only a $1.5 out. The slow grounder. Joyner the flip, and Harvey can't handle it. It was kind of the Olay flip, and Cora with the pretty good speed maybe hurried the throw from Joyner, and the White Sox have the tying run come into the plate.
Brian Harvey probably didn't expect to see the ball or come from that angle that Joyner has. You see him right here. It's a backhand toss. Probably couldn't pick it up and tried to find the base at the same time. It's going to go as an error. Error on the pitcher.
I would think the pitcher, they're going to give it to Wally? No. Well, we'll get it for you, but we know it's an error. Error on the pitcher. So Ozzie Guillen, the potential tying run, not likely to go deep against Brian Harvey, that's for sure. He has no homers, but he could get the White Sox in business.
Cora with pretty good speed on first base. So what the Angel outfielders are going to try to do is close the gaps, prevent the ball from going to the wall, but you give Cora a chance to come around and score.
Guillen with only 7 lifetime homers. That's not the issue here. But can they get the 2 tying runs aboard? They get the gift with the first miscue of the ball game. Jeff Torborg is hoping that will open up the door. Jim Abbott. There's Bruce Hines positioning the fielders a little differently. Ian fouls it back, and the count is 1-2.
Angel defense on the infield has Gaetti playing just a step off the bag. Of course, Joyner playing just a step or 2 behind Cora, but yet on the line, trying to keep that ball from going in that corner, putting 2 runners in scoring position with the top of the White Sox lineup following.
There's a shot to second. This should do it. Rose to Joyner, and the Angels have won for the 10th time in their last 14 games. Jimmy Abbott evens his mark at 4-4. The 3-run homer in the bottom of the 8th by Dave Parker off Bobby Thigpen. And the Angels have beaten the White Sox 4-2. Good pitcher's duel busted up by Parker.
It took one swing to do it. Dave Parker, that's why they brought him over here from Milwaukee. Changes everything around. 4-2 victory by the Angels.
You and I have a pair next week. Memorial night, the Reds and the Giants at Candlestick. A week from tonight, the Astros and the Dodgers from Dodger Stadium. For Jerry Royce, I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching the final again. The Angels 4, the White Sox.